Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate forum, which you should definitely all join. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreon, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of those of you who do support me on Patreon. So massive shout out to Adrian Quintana, Alistair Main, Billy Highvold, Burn Fat Till My Stomach Is As Flat As The Earth, Chow Yun Cat, Dank, David Wayne Foster, Edwin Johnson, Felix Hung, Fireball X, God Rockin', Jeranism, Kirsten Smith, Life Is Short, Matt, Michael, Paige Love, Qatar Craig, Reinhardt, Renee, Sam Hines, Skeptic936, Texas Mike, theflatearthchannel.com, Tina Baker and Sam Herkins. Massive thank you to all of you. It is the pre-show. We've got a few people in both Discord and Google+, so a very warm welcome to... Wow, we've just got Righteous Force in G+ at the minute. Hey Righteous Force, how are you doing?
Hey, doing alright.
Good to have you. We do have Mind Warped, but he's dealing with sick children at the moment, so we might not get a great deal out of him in terms of his observation, which hopefully...
It's all good. I'm here. I just I put the link in the live stream chat, just in the Discord here. So if you wanted to forward the link, it's all good.
I don't know if someone wants to play that. Is there any chance someone can actually play it?
I guess I'm the only one left.
Hint, hint.
No, I'm here. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. But you're not in the Hangout, though. That's what I mean. So someone can actually, so the audience can actually see it.
All right, hold on.
Oh, no. I mean, you don't post the links for the Hangout anymore, right, Nathan?
Just Discord is what goes out to the public.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why.
So I've put on there the coordinates. So my observer height's probably around about... I was talking to someone today, and they reckon it was like 15 or 16 meters, and I'm like, nah, man, it's not that. It's I'll be gracious and say it's about 12.5 would be my viewer height. The base of this is that Watchmup lighthouse that we were talking about a while ago.
I got like so many windows open.
I've managed to actually catch it. Sorry?
It's also in Skype on Master B.
Yeah. Hold on, let me close some stuff.
No worries.
Yes. So I managed to catch it further up towards Burns Beach. So I've got the coordinates of my observer coordinates, and I've got the coordinates of the lighthouse. But then if you watch the full video, you can actually see the wind turbine on there as well, which is actually lower down, which is, I think it's only like 20 meters above sea level. I could be wrong about the heights there, but I do know that Watchmup Tower, the base of that is 42 meters above sea level, and then the actual lighthouse itself is 32 meters, and the complete distance from me to the lighthouse is 36.6 kilometers. I'm not sure what that is in miles, but yeah, if you play that and have a look, it's pretty interesting.
I've got it up on screen now, thanks to Righteous Force. Thank you, Righteous. You want to just click hide on that little bar at the bottom, if you would. Thank you.
I was talking to someone today, and they were like, "Oh, if you have a look at the wind turbine, it's obviously inferior mirage. They're bending." I'm like, "No, they're not bending. They're not. It's not an inferior mirage at all. It's." I thought it was a pretty good capture, but it was really hard to get it at first. And then I managed to get it, and I was like, yes.
It's Wodjima Lighthouse, is that how you say it?
Watchmup. Yeah.
Wodjima.
It's an Aboriginal word. Yeah.
But give us the distances and
So
such.
watch 'em up.
Give us the distances and
Sorry?
such. Like just because it's on screen, I don't know if you want to refresh it just so it plays again, please, Righteous Force. And then if you can just give us all the distances and stuff, just so it's on screen while you're saying it.
Okay. Let me know when, because I'm on Discord. I can't see. So
It's on now. It's all full screen, looking
yeah.
beautiful.
Okay. So my observer height is about 12.5 meters above sea level. The distance from me to that lighthouse is 36.6 kilometers. I'm not sure what that is with the curvature calculator, but I'm pretty certain I shouldn't be able to see that. So the base of that lighthouse is 42 meters above sea level, and then the actual lighthouse itself, I think, is 30 meters, something like that. And then in the video also you see the wind turbine off to the left. That's actually lower down because, as you know, that they build lighthouses on hills so they can be seen. So it's the highest point of the island, but the wind turbine is actually on a lower point. So I think the distance to the wind turbine is 32, I don't even think it might even be 34 kilometers, but I can still see it clearly. And yeah.
About 21 miles
Yeah,
to the
thereabouts.
wind turbine.
So I don't know what the curvature calcs say with my observer height. It's being gracious. Like if you watch that whole video, you'll see it pulls out, and you'll see how high I am off the sea level. It's not 15 meters, like someone said to me. But if you want to put if there's an app that you can put my coordinates in, that will give you the height above sea level. I don't know if there is, but might be helpful. I just went with about 12.5. So
Meters.
say like 10 meters above sea level plus my 1.5. But if people want to get picky, I can go and measure it.
I think we're beyond that now, because the only way they're going to take those mathematics and in any way use them to their advantage is to assume plug it through a perspective hijacking calculator. So
yeah,
I wouldn't be too concerned.
But it's a fairly good distance, but
yeah, it's a good distance. 20 miles is like that optimal distance.
Hi guys.
Hi, Flatzoid. Hey. It's a good distance.
Hey,
so it's like Barrow Inverness at like 18 to 20 miles. It's a good distance. You know, it's within the range of the camera, clear enough to see what you're seeing. So far that it smashes the curve calculator if you want to do that. Not that I do anymore. But yeah. Good observation.
What would yeah, thanks Nathan. What would the curve calc be on that, do you know?
You're definitely asking the wrong person. I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah, I'm lazy at the moment. I'm just doing it on my phone. So, yeah, but if people want to have a look at it, I've left the coordinates on there. They can play around with it. So, if you want to just put the link on the side chat,
yeah,
and then people can do as they wish with it.
Yeah, I will do exactly that. I'll do it now so that when the show starts, it's there for people to see. The link's in Master B, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yep.
Okay, I've got it.
So that's it. I'm done sharing.
Yeah, I just
thank you, Mindwalk. Thank you very much.
That's all good, man. I'm gonna head off now anyway. But I just wanted to send that for you guys tonight.
Cool. Yeah, thank you for that.
That's all good. And sorry I've been away for a while. I just had a few personal issues to deal with, and it wasn't anything personal with anyone. It was just me needing a break. So I'm back maybe for a little bit here and there. But yeah.
Good to have you around. You always produce exceptionally good footage, and obviously you operate a drone for a living, so you know what you're doing.
Thanks, man. Take care, eh?
See you later.
You too, man.
Take care.
Cheers.
Alright,
Good dreams.
you'll have to send me a photo of that new setup I've been hearing about.
You set up from who?
You'll have to send me from you, your new computer setup. I'd love to see it.
Oh, it's just fans. I'm more than happy to send you on stuff. Fine, but obviously about the only person who's expressed the slightest interest.
Yeah, I love it, man, because I've got like 2 monitors, and then I've got the laptop, and I've got all the condenser mics and everything. So I'd love to see your setup, because I heard you saying you got everything on the one screen. I'm like, oh, that sounds cool.
That's not strictly true. I mean, I've still got it on 2 screens. It's just the one screen is everything I need to keep an eye on there and then, and because it's on 2 screens, one of which is 4K, I can see everything, which is fantastic.
I always want to see the fourth wall of
by the way,
YouTubers I watch.
I'm loving this Discord as well. It's so cool, man. Like I
Betty's.
was on here earlier today having a big old chat. It was so cool.
It's not mine. I can't take any credit, so I'm never in there or do anything with it or really understand how it works. I just go in based on what I've been told how to do that by Betty. Start the show and then I'll leave afterwards. Okay. So it's not all credit to Betty. It's her server. So Science versus Pseudoscience. The link's below.
Yeah, but it's a great server. So yeah. Cool. All right, guys. I'll let you go. Take it easy.
Mind warped, everyone. Link to his channels in the chat. So subscribe today.
Thanks.
Yeah, he came in yesterday evening, at least for me. And that was just before I left, so I don't know if he had much fun there or not. Sounds like he did.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, the server has been absolutely fantastic for me. It serves its purpose beautifully. It's my gateway for the public to get into the debate. It's ideal. And the fact that I don't have to do anything about it is great.
I wonder if you should, I guess you don't have the time. I think you should, pop in every now and then. See what it's like after hours.
This is it, isn't it? This is me popping in. I am in that Discord server right now. It's just my bit when I'm there is also broadcast to the public. But that's my engagement with it. So I know what you're saying. Oh, you should engage when you're not broadcasting. It's like, well, no. I dedicate a fair amount of chunk of time to that server. I'm good. I'm happy with my input. But you're right, I don't have the time.
Yeah, I figured.
Bummer that he's gone. I was going to tell him all about computer fans.
He still came back. He's in the background. He's probably listening.
Oh, right. He's probably just dealing with his kids. Fair enough. I'm just chuffed. I will keep this short. Everyone was watching that goes, oh God, no. I will keep it brief. So I originally designed the PC I've got to be passive, which is to say no fans running. The only downside to that was that the PC's main fan header has to be running. The computer has to think there's a fan there. Now you can get around it with various BIOS hacks, which I didn't want to do, so I just left it running very, very low with one fan. One very giant fan, about 18mm, to keep it silent. Now, technically it wasn't silent, there's a fan running in it, but it was very, very quiet. Anyway, the PC started overheating when I got a new monitor, and I started adding fans, so I changed the 18mm to a 20mm, hoping that would solve the problem. It didn't. But then I added another fan with a Y splitter, so I split that header into 2 and put another smaller fan, which is very bad. It's not good. But what it did do, the resistances suddenly dropped so far that the main fan actually stopped when it's not doing much, i.e. playing a CD or a movie or something, and is completely passive, like the new MacBook Pro. I'm like, cool. So just by a bit of fiddling, it now runs cool with 2 fans running on the CPU when it's running the show, so I'm not stressed that it's going to suddenly go pop. And when it's not running the show, it's completely passive now. So I'm absolutely made up. I'm really pleased. Anyway, that's the end. For anyone panicking that I'm going to go on and on about PCs forever. I'm not.
How'd you know I was panicking?
the audience. No one wants to hear tech talk on a flat Earth debate channel, basically.
I don't mind, except we heard some PC talk last night or yesterday. So I figured, oh no, not another PC talk.
That's it. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that don't want to hear it, but I'm excited. I like the fact that the PC, after 5 years of owning it, is actually now passive, which is what I was aiming for or shooting for originally. So, epic. I'm chuffed.
Yeah, my tower is pretty quiet too.
Bet it ain't silent.
Yeah. You know what? I want what he asked, like for your setup. I actually want to see a picture of what you see, like when you do the show, like when you sit on the couch.
Oh, you want to see?
I want to see your. I want to see your view.
I can do
You
that.
should like share that one day.
I can do that now. I just take a picture with the iPad and then send it to you on Master V.
Okay.
1 sec.
Well, you're not going to share with the audience?
Oh, it's the right mess in here.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. All right.
I mean, yeah, I don't mind. I've got nothing to hide. I have put it on. I have dedicated the inside of this room to air before. It's not like I'm slightly ashamed of the mess. No, I'd rather you share it when I've gone to the effort of actually making it look presentable. But I don't mind showing you. You can have a look and see what I see if you want.
Yeah, don't.
There you go. That's my view. Yeah, definitely don't present that. There's my daughter's half-eaten sandwich on the table and things.
Oh, wow. Let me open it to be bigger.
Not particularly exciting, if I'm honest.
It's interesting to me because I always wonder what YouTubers watch, like what they see, what their view is when they do the show.
Mindwarp says that's massive. Yeah, it's a big screen. It's a 8 foot. I think, is it 8 foot or 10 foot? I think it's 8 foot across. It's very big. What you need. Is that a projector? Says Mindwarp. Yes, that's a projector. A not GoFundMe, a Patreon funded projector. So I started Patreon with the intention of keeping my equipment maintained, because slowly but surely entropy was taking hold and everything was breaking, and I was keeping the show running on a thread with, you know, most of the stuff broken or functioning barely. But yeah, because I had a Patreon, Ranty was like, well, what do you actually want it for? What's the purpose? And I was like, the only thing I'd really like to have is all of the equipment actually working properly so that I could run the show without stressing about something going wrong. So over time I got all the equipment fixed purely with the support from people from Patreon. I'm like, well, that's what I see. I know other people will use it for various other things just for their income, which is fine, but me specifically, I want to dedicate the money that I do get from it to actually maintaining the equipment, to keeping things running. And on the day the last projector died, I would not fire up no matter how much I vacuumed it or cleaned it out or, you know, whatever I did to it, it wouldn't turn on. That was the day the new projector arrived, which I still haven't paid for. But there we go. I will pay for it eventually. But yeah, it's awesome. You know, it means I can run the show with far less stress because I can see everything. More resolution just means I can see more of the screen, which means I can monitor everything that's going on the show. So right now I can see the live dashboard ready for when we start in half an hour. I can see the Discord server with everybody who's in it, whether or not they're talking. I can see the person that's just joined. Hello, Paul. So typically that wouldn't be the case. If I was looking at Discord, I wouldn't be able to see the Hangout. Or if I was watching the live dashboard, I couldn't see anything else, and so on and so forth. But yeah, I can see everything. So I've got Skype, the live chat, G+, Discord, the YouTube Studio, Voice Meter Banana, OBS, the video that plays in the background, Patreon, and a couple of other things that are minimised that I can't be asked to look at. But yeah, there's loads of stuff that I've got, and it's all running and visible.
It's also nice to see you buy your kids so many things to have fun.
Yeah, we do spoil our eldest daughter a little bit. That'll slow down how we've got to. Yeah, but we do spend a lot of time at car boot sales buying toys for 50p.
I have to say something righteous. You're a glutton for punishment, my friend.
What do you mean?
I stand in Discord all day dealing with all that.
Well, I don't deal with them all the time. Just when it gets like quiet, sometimes I'll just jump in and I don't know.
Hey,
Like,
Ted,
Definitely
man.
learn. Go ahead.
I prefer to just like listen mostly, so I can like do other stuff, while I'm listening. So that way, I'm not always focused on what they're debating about all the time, because I'm not interested in all sides of the debates. At least not all of them yet. Otherwise, I'd be a better mod and know how to control the situation sometimes. But yeah, I just let them run loose, and when it gets like too rumpusy and people get triggered, that's when I step in.
Yeah, that issue with Xanac. I've had better conversations with Danny T than I ever have with Xanac. Xanac just goes off the deep end. It seems like just goes and tramples all over you. You can't get your thoughts out. It ain't worth the dialogue to me anymore.
Yeah, Xanac is just a more polite version of Rumpus.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
A long time ago, I called him like Rumpus 2.0 because he reminded me of Rumpus 2. But I always say he's more sophisticated because, he's like more realistic, because Rumpus doesn't believe in any conspiracy theories, things like they don't exist. And Xanac, he's more realistic. Oh, wait. Yeah, I got some noise happening.
If it's not me, I'm muted.
Can you hear me? I'm on Discord.
Yes, we hear you,
can.
Tentman.
Morning.
Good morning. Same problem happened today as last week with the Hangouts. It says unable to join.
I can hear you. I don't think they can hear us.
No, I could hear you.
He's really low,
doing
but
all right?
I can hear him.
I'm on this crappy Bluetooth. Sorry.
All right, so where was I? My sister was blending some stuff. But yeah, Xanac is he's more realistic. He actually concedes certain things and says, "Oh yeah, that's not right," or I don't know how to say, but it just seems more realistic to me, at least.
Although I've been thinking about the conversation after yesterday's run in with him, and even Danny, just thinking how all the evidence, either Puppy saying, "Well, the evidence points in that direction," all the evidence, and it's like, well, it's because you already come with preconceived bias and you've been pushed in that direction. So obviously, all the evidence is going to point in that direction if you're only filtering it through that one lens. I was just thinking about that yesterday, and even the possibility of it being something else is not even on the table. Oh, it's so minute, it's so irrelevant, it's so this or that. And I'm like, oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And some of these arguments, they've been defeated, so I don't always attack them. If an argument's been defeated, or I know the answer to an argument, I won't always butt in. I'll just let other flat earthers participate with the ballers and see how they handle certain situations.
Well, I've jumped into the deep end, I think, and trying to flex my debating muscles in that arena, and it's not easy. I'll tell you that for sure.
Well, yeah, watching Nathan Oakley do it and other people on the show do it is one thing, but then when you get into baller territory and you're surrounded by ballers, it's a different situation. So it's good practice. At least that's how I see it.
Yeah, that's one reason I'm doing it. That's one reason I'm doing it, just to kind of get used to it, flex my muscles, strengthen the arguments in my own mind, that kind of thing. That's kind of one reason I'm doing it.
But don't worry if you don't know every argument, how to how do I say, how to corner, if you can't corner them concisely enough, don't worry about it. Or if you don't know all the answers yet, just don't worry about it. Just come back like another day. Like, if you don't know every argument well enough, it's no big deal, right? I'll just be like, okay, I'm not familiar with this argument, so just walk away from it. You don't have to get
You
triggered
don't.
because you can't beat them at every argument, is my
You
thing.
don't need to.
Right.
You don't need to know every argument when they're dying on Coriolis by a self-inflicted wound of their own. Yesterday's show, when at the end I had to catch it on the recorded version because I had a busy day, but Blind Sniper came on and Don came on. And you could tell they were losing it, and I think Nathan just identified the problem. These ballers are arguing well deep within the cognitive dissonance that they're experiencing. So they're actually holding two thoughts at the same time, and it's causing a lot of damage to their brain. So they go with the one that they want to be true. And one of the strangest replies came off of one of my comments. As far as I know, Nathan has used the definition for Coriolis that their side has put up. So he's not making up his own definition. He's just citing what the current definition of Coriolis is from their side. The comment that came up was Nathan is purposely not defining Coriolis. If he did, he wouldn't have a show. Now, how much more cognitive dissonance can you have than to put up that comment when we're using what's his name's Kosho's citation from their side?
I think that's more pure denial rather than cognitive dissonance. I see that a lot. The commenters say, "What? Like with George, look how he got smashed. George had a shave and beat him." You're like, really? What were you watching? I watched rumpus the crap out of me, and me still managed to get my point across to the point where he had a little spaz and started shaving. But they were obviously watching a different show.
You don't think there's a connection between denial and cognitive dissonance?
Well, cognitive dissonance is holding two opposing positions at the same time. You can have the second law of thermodynamics pegged and understood, and then still hold the idea that the violation thereof with a sky vacuum is true. That would be cognitive dissonance. Whereas seeing somebody get their argument pulled to pieces and then just ignoring it and claiming that that's a win, that's denial as opposed to cognitive dissonance, in my opinion.
I think
Well, if you think about the
very much.
what you think,
I think they're very much
oh,
related.
sorry,
No, fair enough.
sorry about that, 10th man. Well, I was thinking about this, in their model, so to speak, the hovering helicopter has to be standing still and moving at the same time.
That's correct. It's a violation of the law of non-contradiction to have the helicopter. That's
Right.
why I said that's become my question now. How fast is Earth spinning underneath a hovering helicopter in order to generate the apparent deflection claimed to be on a spinning ball Earth? Clue is in the question. Hovering helicopter. Yep, that's typically the reaction I would get for that question.
Yeah, and Zanuck was using that, talking about the different reference frames, and then when I heard him describe it, I'm like, wait a minute, the helicopter has to be moving and sitting still at the same time, according to what you're saying. That doesn't make sense
Yeah.
at all.
Helicopters are the undoing of Earth spinning.
Another interesting thing is the jet streams. They actually move with the Earth rotation, but actually go faster than the Earth rotation. Like up to
Didn't I
250
ask
miles
Zanuck,
faster.
that creates a second reference frame when that thing is moving faster. If you put a helicopter on those streams, just let it sit there, it's gonna move faster than the spin of the Earth. That's what they say. So that will create a second reference right there.
Sure.
He will deny it over and over.
Well, they admit to a second reference frame now, but it's outside the Earth's atmosphere. It's in outer space. So look how wild and crazy their definitions are getting when they have to defend a lie. They keep lying to cover the lie.
Well, I will defend him slightly on this point because I think he does make a valid point on this. Is I think the reference frame is from the point of the observer. So, like, if I'm in the hurricane moving around in a circle, then I'm in that reference frame of the moving hurricane. If I'm standing on the Earth looking at the hurricane, I'm in that reference frame looking at the hurricane. If I'm out in space, so to speak, looking down at the hurricane, I'm looking at it from that. So it's the reference frame is the perspective of the observer. So really, if we're going to argue this, I think my feet are planted firmly on the ground. Prove to me that I'm moving. That
Exactly.
should be the argument.
Exactly, Paul. Exactly. So the Coriolis effect is an observation from the non-inertial spinning reference frame. You remaining on the spinning reference frame observe apparent deviation called Coriolis effect. The observation of Coriolis effect takes place from the spinning reference frame that the projectile is going to leave. So it is the ground-based effect of you remaining on the roundabout, or, in their claim of a spinning ball Earth, you as the observer remaining on the Earth and something leaving the Earth, and you seeming to see it deviate because you and the Earth you are standing on is claimed to rotate underneath the projectile, helicopter, plane, drone, anything that leaves the spinning reference frame of a claim to be spinning Earth. The problem is that helicopters leave the spinning frame, but there's no deviation underneath them, as there absolutely must be to observe Coriolis. So you stand on the ground, the helicopter leaves the spinning reference frame, the non-inertial reference frame which you're standing on, claimed to be spinning Earth. Does it start to drift? Do you observe a deviation because the Earth's spinning underneath the helicopter? Do you observe this? No. There's no Coriolis drift. The helicopter's hovering.
Well, that was precisely QE's interjection yesterday about the argument being understood from the beginning for the flat earthers, which is it's an apparent deflection. It has nothing to do with it for being real. So go to the causes of the Coriolis, not the effects.
Yeah, but the problem is they're so fundamental, they just ignore anything you bring at them anyway.
Well, my point was you can't take it out to outer space because you lost your argument on the Nathan Oakley show when a week before you're telling me bullets within the Earth's atmosphere have to take account to Coriolis. So this is what I'm saying. They have to lie to cover a lie.
So Spurs redeemed himself to a small degree in this respect. He sent me a meme. So apparently he'd had a conversation with M. Scott Veitch, and the upshot of the claims made by M. Scott Veitch, son of an astronaut, was that helicopters are hovering, i.e. there is no apparent deviation. As you observe the helicopter, you're not rotating underneath it, it's hovering. However, the gunner on the helicopter, well, he's got to track the target to the right because Earth's spinning underneath the bullets as the helicopter hovers with the Earth not spinning underneath it. So you can fire a bullet from a helicopter and have to account for deviation because Earth's rotating underneath the bullet when it leaves the, non-inertial spinning reference frame of the helicopter that's already in the inertial reference frame, not attached to the spinning reference frame underneath. Well, that makes a whole lot of sense. Not.
Yeah, wow.
Did I hear that right?
It's nothing new. I mean, this is their insanity that quote is explaining. I mean, to sit there and talk to someone after living any amount of time on this earth and to uphold an absurd belief that the earth obviously is observably flat, because everyone, even ballers, could look out and say, yeah, you're right, I don't notice the spin. And then to have that argument about the helicopter hovering with the momentum of the earth, and then why does he have to aim as the earth is moving? I mean, this is so obvious. It's like, to spend all the time we spend on it tells you how crazy the denial or the cognitive dissonance is in their head. It's right there in front of you. It's their death.
Ten minutes and we'll go live.
Oh,
Next
before
time
you
they
do,
come in, we should. Sorry.
fix your Discord link.
In the advert for the live show that's about to start, the Discord link doesn't work.
Yeah, I just checked it.
I
Says invalid.
refreshed it like 3 or 4 times. So I go to create a new link, decide to change the randomly, so let's say it's 6 hours, grant temporary membership, generate new link, and it has done this time. Okay.
Go on, Paul.
Done.
Well, I was just saying, I was going to change the argument and say, show me how I'm moving and not moving at this. But I guess that wouldn't work. That would actually backfire. Never mind. Now that I almost said it out loud, it doesn't make sense. Basically, show me that I'm moving with my feet firmly planted on the ground.
And that a helicopter isn't while it's flying in the inertial reference frame. But the bullets are.
You just don't understand physics.
The gunner on that helicopter's got a right problem. He's got all sorts of things to concern himself with.
I know what's the problem with the gunner. He's just squint.
No, he's slightly moving his joystick to the left or right, just slightly.
No, the pilot hasn't got a... No, the pilot's not going to concern himself with it. We're only talking about the gunner. The pilot, he can just sit pretty. He's not going to worry about Coriolis. The gunner, on the other hand, he's got all sorts of problems.
I got into it with Puppy Lover the other day, and he said, "Oh, it's so minute, you don't have to count for it, so it's not there, right? So minute, you don't have to account for it.
Well, hold on. The address for that is, we're looking for an apparent deviation. From your perspective on the non-inertial spinning reference frame, the deviation should be apparent, not so insignificant that it's not apparent, which is what they're now arguing for."
The guy was talking about V2 rockets back in World War II, how there's the Coriolis effect that was causing the rockets to miss their targets, And I thought about that right off the bat. I'm going like, I wonder if they had a very good understanding of wind currents and stuff like that when they're shooting their V2 rockets. I wonder if it's the air deflected that slightly, or that when they constructed the wing on the back of the V2 was a slight aerodynamic imperfection that caused the rocket to miss, things like that. I was like, but it's Coriolis. That's a Coriolis why they missed the target, not only any of these other factors. So.
They're dead when you ask them to explain it. What causes it? That's where we got to keep the argument, I think.
Yeah, it's like talking to a brick wall with these guys.
Another topic came up, I guess, was the different weight change of the way that, like, I think Wolfie did the scale on different latitudes, So latitudes mean weight change. Even if I thought about that for a second, even as an experimental framework, had they accounted for all the potential variables, like there is a doctor in Hawaii that actually was asked the question if the density of the air changed your weight, and he basically said yes. So if the atmospheric pressure is the air pressure is denser, you're going to weigh less, you know, and if you have less dense air, you're going to weigh more, or something like that. And I thought, well, there's an initial variable right off the bat, you know, and of course they dismissed that as a potential cause of the weight change at the so-called different latitudes.
I'll give him everything. You can have it all. Just
Yeah.
show me the causes for Coriolis and tell me why the flight from Charlotte, North Carolina doesn't take 1.5 hours as the Earth is spinning towards it at 860. You die right there. I don't need to go to scales at different latitudes. You can't show the Earth spinning. That means there's no gravity, because you need gravity if the Earth is spinning. There's no curvature because it's not a ball anymore. They die right there.
You're forgetting they're not working at the really is level.
Well, like you said, it's like talking to a brick wall. At that point, you have to move on and realize this person is willfully denying words, semantics, and their meaning, and holding on to a false position. And they look that way when they're responding to you, as this last week and a half of shows has shown us. I think we ought to keep this fire hot and just shove Coriolis down their throat.
Yeah, because they just give us the fluoride stay.
They're going berserk.
Yeah, well, they're just running into corners, as I say. They run to this corner, they're wrong there. They run
On
to
the
the next corner, they're wrong.
Till very recent days, Coriolis was nicely tied down in doublespeak and obfuscation and confusion, to the point where most arguments would be that you'd leave most audiences in the position that you didn't really understand what the argument was, or whether it had been won or lost based on what anybody has said. Well, they want it that way. They need it obfuscated and doublespeaked into confusion. So at the moment, we're nicely, concisely summarising how Coriolis effect is being argued to not exist on their side. Arguments like Earth and atmosphere as one is an argument that there is no Coriolis deviation. You don't observe it because they're not deviating. They're travelling together. Not deviating, not Coriolis. That's what they're arguing for, and we're pointing that out on a daily basis. Well, the nice veneer that they had over Coriolis is slowly being picked away. And now audiences are recognising, and therefore people are attacking them on the basis that they're arguing for there being no Coriolis effect, which is essentially just their explanation for an effect that should be there but isn't, when they argue for nonsense like reference frames travelling together, not giving you Coriolis. But like I say, that hasn't been so concise until recent times. Now it is.
It sure is, and let's keep the fire hot.
Boom.
Yeah, Wiggles in the after show yesterday evening, and I had just asked him how fast is Earth travelling underneath a hovering helicopter to give you the Coriolis deviation that's supposed to be there on a spinning ball Earth, and he ran away.
Yep.
Delivered a couple of ad homs and then ran away.
Where was this?
That was on the after show.
Yeah, in the live chat on the after show yesterday evening. So 948.
So he finally came. He was claiming in your chat that he was banned from Discord, and I've let him know that he wasn't banned.
He wasn't in the live show. He was in the chat. I don't know about who's banned in Discord. It's not my Discord, so I don't know or care. But he was certainly capable of chatting in my live stream chat, and he did. And I just asked him that question, and he ran away.
Don't these ballers ever get embarrassed with that stupidity that they bring up?
Yeah.
Maybe no, because they still have the majority on their side.
Majority of what?
Majority of ballers, so we can disappear to somewhere like Jose's and just preach about how he perceives things like Coriolis to work and how wrong we are with a load of ad homs, and just ignore the points that have been delivered. So they'll just, for the sake of argument, say, don't they understand that Earth and atmosphere travel as one? It's like, oh right, one reference frame. That's our argument. That's the undoing of there being a Coriolis effect. But they'll continue to argue it where we're not there to say that. Like they're actually achieving something. Convincing themselves that that's a winning argument. Having stuck their head in the sand.
I mean, like I've got a 4-year-old daughter. I can explain to her the difference with reference frames and she'll understand. You can dumb it down as much as you want to these guys and it's like they can't even visualize it.
Well, that's why last weekend they all continued talking about it after the beatdown from last week. They went on the shows to reaffirm, okay, I got beat down on the Oakley channel, so let me go to a baller-friendly channel and let me reiterate my absurd claim. And then, of course, all those people say, yeah, you're right, Oakley's wrong. And then in the meantime, we're using their quotes from their sources. And they come back to this week and they get more of a beatdown. So it's just so funny to watch.
Yeah. Kind of psychotic.
I don't know if it's funny anymore.
I do. I think for all the people who can still see it, I send the shows out to all my friends to watch these shows. I said, listen to this part. Listen to this part. It's for them. It's not for these people who are zombies already. I could care less about those that see truth and deny it.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate forum, which you should definitely all join. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion right here, right now, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Righteous Force, 10th Man, Paul and Flatzoid in G+. How are you all doing?
Morning.
Good afternoon. Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. And we are also joined by a fair few people in Discord. Hello to everyone in Discord also.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. Or good afternoon where I am actually, but there we go. Any signs of Earth curvature?
No signs of Earth curvature.
Wait, let me just check quickly. Nope, still flat.
No? Red? I thought I saw red in the chat flashing. No? Any signs of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety? Hey, Arwin.
Hello. Almost couldn't
No.
find your link.
Nope.
Hey, Darren, it's flat. Good to have you. Any evidence scientific of gravity?
No, definitely not.
What is gravity?
Absolutely not.
And I was kind of weirded out that Riley yesterday supposedly had found an explanation as to how the bending of space-time actually affects anything. That was kind of weird. I kind of want a citation for that.
Oh, was it talking about how the 4D world manifests itself on our 3D actual world? Was it that?
Yeah, he was
Oh,
actually
right.
going there.
You like that, do you? The 4D world being the conceptual medium of space-time, and how that conceptual medium of space-time is affecting the 3D world. You don't see the problem there, are we?
Yeah, I do. That's why. That's why I want to see a citation for that from
Fair
him.
enough.
Although, you know, what I heard originally, now I'm talking like 20 years ago in school, what they said is that the bending of space-time and this gravity doesn't even really describe what sticks things to balls. But what it does do is that when the supposed gravity is so extreme that, yeah, the bending of space-time is like the black hole effect bending everything away.
Yes.
So it's completely unprovable and
You're
so
talking about-
remote that even if there was an outer space out there, how are you going to scientifically prove that without getting sucked up by a black hole? It's just so insane.
It's not black hole, it's gravitational accretion that you're describing.
Just concepts.
Yeah, it is just a concept, but it's not black hole. You're describing gravitational accretion, not black holes. I'm not having a dig, because who cares? This is all bollocks, right? Who cares what happens in Narnia?
Right, the time alteration from being closer to a high gravity field thing, like in Interstellar.
Oh, time dilation. Well, that's something else in Einsteinian and bollocks. Can we
But
move on? This isn't
that was
scientific
caused
evidence
by the
of gravity.
bending of space-time, right?
God, this
That's
isn't
the
scientific
actual
evidence of
bending.
gravity, is it?
No, it's the bending of something else that they call gravity, and then say that it's really weird what they're doing. They're taking something else, saying that causes the bending of space-time, which is gravity. But what does cause that other thing? They don't really answer that technically.
And it's true because they made it up themselves.
Yep.
Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
No. Or the moon.
Come on, there's got to be a fundy in Discord that's capable of parroting some of the nonsense that's being punted by the YouTube priests of heliocentrism. Come on, share your pain.
Anything.
No distance to the sun. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Just yummy marshmallows over a
No.
fire.
No molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth? What about the R value? The presupposition of an Earth radius that's spherical. Any evidence of the R value?
There are
Not from
none here.
California.
Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon?
Nope. I'm still waiting
Not
for
on Earth.
demonstration.
Plasma. Sorry.
I had plasma. Is that an answer to that question, is it?
Well, they originally said, "Oh, look, you can, put plasma. What is it? And then keep it stuck to a certain region with magnetics opposing a very low gas pressure to keep it stuck." And that was supposedly proof that gas could, press to a ball, but it's actually plasma, not gas. So it's just
Sounds cool. Can you show us that? Is that something you can show us, though? That sounds ace.
I don't think I've actually got to see that. It was just suggested that that's possible, and like, oh yeah, I saw that once, or it's just.
But let me get it straight. It's not something that's demonstratable. It's just a claim to be violation of the second law of thermodynamics.
Well, they claim that it has been demonstrated. They just can't find any footage of it yet, or they haven't shown it yet.
Oh, I see.
It
Well,
might
we live
be
in
out
hope.
there. Maybe if we just Google it.
Maybe we could live in hope.
Yeah, we just need to Google it, guys. That's what they want.
Just need to go do the research yourself. What's wrong with you? This stuff is out there, man. Just back my claim for me, man. This stuff is out there.
Right.
Well,
Out
it would
there
take
is.
care of all the recycling issues, wouldn't it?
Are you talking to a refuse man? What's going on?
No, I'm saying that if they're claiming some kind of energy or plasma can keep things contained like gases that need a can or a container of some kind now, then we wouldn't have any kind of littering with plastic bottles or cans because they figure out some new technology, right?
No.
No
maybe,
what?
maybe we'll end up seeing people walking around with plasma containers. That sounds
I don't
practical.
think plasma is very healthy for life.
Well, they got plasma TVs. Come on.
Yeah, but that's in a
Okey-dokey.
container.
It's as healthy as the
Thank
water
you.
we drink.
I'll take that as a no, that natural law still holds true. Excellent, that concludes the housekeeping.
Aye.
As an extra Brucey bonus question, for the fundies who believe in a Coriolis effect, at what speed does Earth rotate underneath a hovering helicopter to generate the necessary deviation claimed to be on a spinning ball Earth? That deviation that the helicopter is going to be deviating is called Coriolis effect. It's the effect of a non-inertial spinning reference frame rotating under something that's left the inertial reference frame. Left into the inertial reference frame. So, given that a helicopter's left the claim to be spinning ball Earth, what speed does Earth rotate underneath that hovering helicopter to generate the Coriolis effect needed and claimed to be there on a spinning ball Earth? I'd like to know the speed in miles per hour that the Earth is rotating underneath a hovering helicopter to give you that Coriolis effect you say is there. Answers on a postcard.
Well, it has to be quite fast if they claim it makes hurricanes.
No, hurricane
Red
wouldn't
herring.
be categorized in this. So the deviation is a apparent, meaning it seems like you can see it. It seems to you, from your perspective, on the non-inertial spinning reference frame, it looks like the helicopter's curving as you rotate underneath. So that would be the deviation. It's not actually curving. The helicopter would be hovering as you rotate away from it underneath, seeing it seem to deviate, even though it's not actually moving, it's hovering. But I'd like to know how fast the spinning Earth that's going to develop this Coriolis effect you claim is there, how fast that spinning ball Earth spins underneath a hovering helicopter. Answers on a postcard. Send
Would
them
that
to
would that
I'm
hovering
a
helicopter
brain
be in
dead religious zealot. London W12.
But is it hovering in relation to the rotating Earth, or is it hovering in relation to the stationary air layer? Because if it's hovering in relation to the rotating Earth, then it might be tilted going against that heavy wind stream it's going to be facing higher
But
up.
then you don't get Coriolis. It has to be separate reference frames.
So
It
Alwyn
has to be moving
saying
separate.
maybe there won't be any Coriolis
You
deviation
didn't
as the
catch my
fundies.
doublespeak, did you?
Sorry, Alwyn, you're claiming maybe there won't be any deviation because on the equator that helicopter's going to tilt and hover to counteract the 1,000 miles an hour spin that would create the deviation we're supposed to see in my question. Earth's supposed to have Coriolis effect, a deviation because you spin underneath, and I want to know how fast we're spinning underneath this hovering helicopter to give us that deviation that's supposed to be there. The proof that Earth is spinning is Coriolis, the deviation, the apparent deflection as we spin underneath bullets and footballs and helicopters and aeroplanes. So given that it's hovering, I'd like to know how fast Earth's spinning underneath that hovering helicopter to give you the absolutely must be there and is claimed to be there Coriolis deviation that we'd see from the ground. That's what I'd like to know. Give it me in miles an hour, thank you, fundies. Answers on a postcode to I'm a fuckwit religious fundie who holds a contradiction in their proof of a spinning ball Earth in the form of a Coriolis deviation that isn't there!
You forgot double speaking.
Is it hovering in relation to the Earth reference frame or in relation to the air layer reference frame it is in? Which one?
Well, if no one steps up, Nathan, I'll be Johnny Globehead.
Be my guest.
Yeah, that spot's taken. I already did that.
All right, I'm going to do it the way I heard it last week. So,
Good morning, guys.
Yo,
Hi,
Joe.
good
Chocolate.
morning.
Great chocolate.
Anyway,
So, yeah,
you didn't
Nathan.
catch my double speak at the beginning, apparently, where I said that it's hovering in relation to the air layer that is in lockstep with the Earth. And then I proceeded to ask, so if the Earth is spinning underneath, then it would be tilted in relation to the air layer moving past. So you didn't catch
No,
that,
I got
guess.
it. I'm just going to act Johnny Globehead in character of the people that came on last week.
What?
So, Nathan, what you don't understand is conservation of momentum. We're spinning with the Earth and the atmosphere because we're stuck. Okay, and the deviation of the Coriolis is when there's latitude changes, because at the equator, the Earth is going at 1,038 miles, but as you go further north or south, that speed slows down. So as you move there, that's where the deviation is, in that very next latitude. Come on, Nathan.
So the deviation you're claiming is the effect that you would observe from the ground. So according to you, the Earth is rotating at different speeds underneath depending on latitude. So if you would move north in an aeroplane from the ground, you see this apparent claim to be their deviation because Earth's spinning underneath at different speeds. Correct, 10th man?
Yes, Johnny Globehead, 10th man is, but we're moving as one. You got to remember that.
No. Moving at different speeds is moving at different speeds, not moving as one. Moving at different
Yeah,
speeds underneath the aeroplane to create the deviation. To have a deviation, the Earth will rotate underneath this plane you claim is deviating when travelling north. So according to your version of this rhetoric of a deviation on a spinning ball Earth, the plane will deviate because Earth's spinning at different speeds underneath this plane. So I'd like to know that a helicopter, that it's going to start by hovering and then move north to show the different speeds the Earth rotates underneath. So what speed is the Earth rotating underneath the hovering helicopter before it moves north?
It's the same speed, but the atmosphere is stuck with the Earth, and the change happens when you go north. In this example, the latitude changes, and it's a minute change, and then you're still at that point. And then if you move further north, then you'll notice the Coriolis effect, but then you'll be still at that point. It's not all at once.
We're really beating this into the ground, aren't we?
So the
Well,
apparent
you guys just don't get
deviation.
it.
No, I'm just getting used to the Earth spinning underneath a separate air layer and the air being lockstep with the Earth at the same time. And I'm trying to adapt to that in order to communicate more directly with the ballers, because that's the direction they are obviously going at. So
That wasn't what
Well,
I
it's
was
just like
expecting
when you're in a
Arwen
car,
to say.
Nathan.
I was expecting Arwen to say either the Earth is rotating underneath the aeroplane, and I'll even put in parentheses, at different speeds, depending on latitude, or it's not rotating underneath the plane. It's either rotating underneath, giving you a Coriolis effect, or it isn't.
I've been saying that for a week now, and it's not really rubbing off on them.
Can I ask Johnny Globehead a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
On this non-inertial reference frame that this helicopter spinning in, would the rotation rate be slower at the bottom, closer to the ground, or higher up?
Well, it's not
What's your
noticeable since the
tangent?
atmosphere and the Earth are lockstep. Do you understand what lockstep is?
You
It's like
understand
in
what
the car.
Coriolis is?
It's just
Don't
like
make me
when
go
you're in a
ask you
car
that.
with well, I think I hear chocolate, so let me address this to him. It's like when you're in a car with a accelerating coffee cup. It's right there. It doesn't move.
See, why
But
we
you're
gotta
moving
bring
at
up the
70
coffee
miles
cup,
an
man?
hour.
So if you toss a ball up and down in a moving car, Johnny Globehead 10th man, does the ball return to your hand because they're travelling as one?
Yes.
Well, then there is no deviation.
That's proving my point. We're lockstep.
Well, then there's no Coriolis deviation. If the ball returns to your hand because they're travelling as one reference frame, it's not deviating away from your hand, seeming to curve, even though it's only going up and down. See, if you had a flatbed truck with an open bed and you sat in it with the same ball, when you throw the ball into the inertial reference frame and it leaves the frame of reference and is no longer being carried along with the car, then it seems like it flies away behind you if you're on a motorway. It isn't flying away behind you, it's just staying where it was when you threw it up in the air as you travel away from it. But it seems like it's curved away from you. Well, that curving is Coriolis. You saying that it's the same as a car travelling along and the ball returning to your hand is a claim that there isn't any deviation. No Coriolis effect.
Well, actually, I could prove this if you give me a minute.
Prove what? That there isn't a deviation that's supposed to be there on a spinning ball Earth?
Well, if you flat earthers would listen, it's a latitude change that causes it. So yes, if you're going at 70 miles an hour in a straight line on a straight highway, you throw the ball, it's going to return. No deviation. Agreed. But when you make that quick turn to the right, everything moves to the left. So you went into a different latitude. That's the deviation.
No. That's not Coriolis effect.
Well, so what is it then?
I don't know. You tell me. This is your claim.
I'm in a different latitude when I make a right turn, so everything starts going to the left, and there's the apparent deviation right there.
Okay, I concede, 10th man. You've done a better job than any fundy. That proves your point. Well done.
Duh. Good.
Is that it? So yeah, to summarise, Coriolis effect is the effect of a projectile leaving a non-inertial spinning reference frame and entering the inertial reference frame, as per a car on a roundabout, driving around in a circle, flatbed truck, you throw the ball in the air, it seems to curve away. What's actually happened is, whatever point it left your hand, it just goes up and down, and eventually drops pretty much below where you threw it up. But you continue to travel away from it. The effect of it seeming to curve away from your hand is the fact that you've continued to go underneath it in a circle. You're the rotating non-inertial reference frame, and the apparent deviation you must observe if the Earth was rotating underneath bullets, underneath balls, and underneath helicopters would be your non-inertial reference frame that you are attached to continuing to rotate underneath the thing that has left that reference frame. Your description of a closed system isn't the Coriolis effect. Leaving the non-inertial reference frame. That's what gives you Coriolis effect. Entering the inertial reference frame, the apparent deviation being the Coriolis effect. The Coriolis force is the non-force that makes the ball curve from your hand. Non-force, not actual force, because the ball doesn't curve from your hand. It seems to curve from your hand because you rotate underneath. So, the helicopter leaves the roundabout and seems to curve away from you because you rotate underneath the helicopter. The helicopter leaves the rotating Earth and seems to deviate at the speed that Earth's rotating. No, it doesn't do that, does it? There's no demonstrable Coriolis effect on Earth. That's not what happens. Things don't deviate. Things don't have the Earth rotating underneath. And if the Earth did rotate underneath, flight times would be shortened when travelling west, because the Earth's rotating underneath. The thing needed to give you that deviation that you seem to see when you're on the ground still rotating, Well, the reason that would happen is because Earth's rotating underneath the planes, and if it's rotating underneath the planes, you'd have considerably shortened durations of flights, because the continents would be coming to you when travelling west. So the needed ingredients to have this deviation is Earth rotating underneath things in the second reference frame. That doesn't happen. Helicopters can hover.
Necessary antecedent.
Yeah, the necessary antecedent is Earth rotating underneath. To have Coriolis effect, you have a non-inertial reference frame that's spinning and you leave it. The apparent deviation is you rotating underneath to see it seem to curve away from you. It isn't, it just travels up and down if it's a ball that you've thrown up and down. It just travels from left to right if you've thrown it out away from your rotating reference frame. It's travelling in a straight line to all intents and purposes. You continue to rotate. The rotation of you underneath it is what creates the curved effect. Well, that would be true if Earth was rotating with everything that left the rotating reference frame, at which point Johnny Fundy will come in and say, no, they're attached, which won't give you any opportunity to generate the Coriolis effect because you must leave the non-inertial spinning reference frame. Still being in it, attached to it, isn't going to give you Coriolis effect ever.
Can 10th man go back to being 10th man and answer 10th man Johnny Globehead?
Yeah, go on. The one that you got me on.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember the word that they
here's the
used.
deal.
They describe it with cars that go round and they ask for that non-force. I just couldn't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
So what you're saying, Johnny Globehead, is that when you're in a container that's sealed, the atmosphere is contained or stuck within that container. So are you saying the Earth has a container now? Because if you're gonna understand gas law.
Sorry to rumpus you, right? Yeah, that did slip me by. Yeah, you were arguing open and closed systems. I just didn't spot it at all. Kudos, you had me. Better than most globeheads.
Yeah. Well, this is the trap I set for them. When they say that, I say, oh, so you are agreeing with a container now. They said, no, I'm not agreeing with a container. I said, well, how do you keep gases that are unbonding to itself, that go in every which way, staying stuck to the Earth as the Earth is rotating without a container? The car example is perfect. You have windows, roof, everything. But the minute you get in a convertible, it doesn't work. So are you telling me that the Earth is a convertible or a closed system? Which is it?
I'll answer you. I'll play Johnny Globehead. The Earth in the heliocentric system is absolutely an open system. That's why you have George Netanyahu, the batshit crazy senile bastard, saying that a closed thermos is an open system. Because he's insane and doesn't understand open or closed systems or the Coriolis effect.
Yes. Then that's where this argument, as you lead them down this low road, when they use the car example, I say, oh, so you do believe in container now. They see when you have a lie.
Every example they use is some type of a container. It's always if you're in a car, or if you're in a plane, or if you're in a train, it's always some type of a container, some type of closed system. They always use it because that's how it works. It has to work that way. The only time other than that, they say, "Oh, go outside." That's it.
When we were younger, or when I was younger, I had a 4x4 truck, and we were in the mountains with our friends, and some of them were in the back, and we went four-wheeling, and I didn't realize what I was doing, but through the rearview window I saw it, and we almost lost a few people. So what happened was I was going at a pretty good speed, and there was a few bumps, and of course we're four-wheeling, so I hit these bumps. Well, sure enough, I look in the rearview mirror to see what would happen to those in the back, because I felt it in the front seat with the seatbelt on. They lifted off the bed of the truck, almost above the side of the truck. And the truck continued to go underneath them. And if it wasn't for the fact that they were right next to the cab, they would have been on the road and I would have gone underneath them. That's reality.
They left the frame of reference. They were no longer attached to the truck. So as the truck continued to move underneath them, with them no longer attached, the apparent effect is that the curving of the path is them bouncing up and away from the truck. They curve away from the truck. No, they've just bounced up in the air and the trucks continue to move underneath them. Precisely. That's what you need to have Coriolis.
I'll never forget it.
Things leaving the reference frame and seeming to curve away, like in that truck example, is what they claim happens on Earth. Oh, Neil deGrasse Tyson tweets out, the ball went through the goalposts because of the deflection caused by Earth rotating underneath that ball. So Earth rotates, moves the goalposts, and the goal is scored. According to Neil deGrasse Tyson, the second reference frame is the ball travelling through the air, and the non-inertial spinning reference frame is the Earth spinning underneath. That's what's claimed to be in effect on the spinning ball Earth reified by fundies. Well, if you believe that's the case, you've got to answer this question. How fast is Earth spinning underneath a hovering helicopter? It isn't, by the way. It's hovering. That's defiance of the law of non-contradiction. Just nicely summarised with a helicopter that's hovering.
And we answer that question every time we're asked, is there any evidence of axial rotation? And the answer is no.
Yeah, Coriolis speaks directly to that housekeeping question, correct. The claims that Earth spins come with an alleged Coriolis effect. Ring laser gyro, Coriolis effect. Foucault pendulum, Coriolis effect. Bullets that deflect, Coriolis effect. This is all Earth rotating under an inertial reference frame. All of them. That's how they claim Earth spinning. With the Coriolis effect. That we don't observe in a hovering helicopter. That we don't observe in a plane with Earth rotating underneath it, shortening the duration of flight time. We simply don't observe any deflection of anything leaving a non-inertial spinning reference frame because we're not spinning. There is no demonstration of any observable Coriolis effect. If there was, we'd have shortened flight times. Simple as. We don't, and when we get into the argument with fundies, all they do is argue for why we don't observe the effect that's supposed to be there on their spinning ball Earth. Earth and atmosphere travelling as one? No deviation then. No, that's just a justification for the reality we observe, and the reality we observe doesn't have a Coriolis effect because we're not spinning.
Well, I think one of your greatest comebacks you use on this is how gas behaves, and how could gas be stuck when its pure essence is it doesn't stick. It bounces.
Right, it's unbonded, free to move in all directions, untethered to anything. Not tethered to itself, not tethered to the ground, free to move in all directions. So this horse shit that it's travelling as one, giving you a defiance of the Coriolis effect, giving you no effect, giving you no deviation because they're travelling as one reference frame when Coriolis requires two, leaving the non-inertial reference frame, not travelling with it, leaving it. That's what you need, fundies. You need a hovering helicopter to have the Earth rotating underneath, and you're never going to have it. It's a violation of the law of non-contradiction. The Earth isn't rotating under hovering helicopters. Pissing in your face, fundies. No Coriolis deviation. No spinning ball Earth.
Why do cars have windshields?
Stop the wind.
Oh, no, I thought it was stuck to the earth and we're moving as one.
Yeah, shield you from the wind.
So what happened to conservation of momentum?
I don't know where you're going with this, but carry on.
Well, if a helicopter goes up at the equator and the Earth is rotating 1,038 miles west to east, and the atmosphere is stuck to the Earth, and I don't notice a difference, why do I need a windshield?
Because you might travel at 100 miles an hour through the wind.
So then the wind is not stuck to the Earth, as they say?
No, your example's malformed. Sorry, I would just stop
Has
digging this hole.
nothing to do with it.
Yeah, stop digging this hole. Honestly.
Well, my question is, they're saying you go up and you're moving as one with the Earth.
Man,
Well,
let them dig their own holes,
hang
which
on,
they do very proficiently.
It's been poisoned by his own.
Momentum
Hang
could.
on. Hang
Hold
on,
on.
you guys
I
jumped
think
too
I know
early.
where you're
No,
going.
everyone stop
Conservation of
rumpusing in.
momentum
Look,
could
if 10th man
defy-
wants to dig this hole deeper, you let him.
Thank you. I'm I'm arguing your points of north-south, east winds.
What?
So
And a
what do I
jolly-
need a windshield for?
Let's just
Not our
humour him.
point.
Just humour him. And a jolly good job you've done too, 10th man. Kudos to you.
I got to argue myself as 10th man and Johnny Globehead 10th man here.
Poisoning you, man. Just don't let Johnny Globehead take over.
Oh, he dies. He died with Coriolis.
Good, good.
These are just remnants.
Just
The
about
north,
seg-
south, east winds prove that the Earth is not rotating with the atmosphere west to east, stuck
What's Coriolis?
together.
What's Coriolis?
An
Apparent deviation
deflection
from the
from two
non-inertial
different
spinning reference frames.
Oh, apparent. So not real. Okay, cool.
No, not
Well, the
real.
deflection is real, all right, but it's not an effect. It's just a visual side effect of what happens when something changes its reference frame. Suddenly moving with
an
a
illusion.
body of air that it has a different velocity in relation to the original reference frame.
Spot on. That's correct.
Like an illusion, like Kosho's citation says it.
Yeah, an illusion. Spot on. So in the example given by 10th man, right, if you're watching that truck, yeah, and you happen to be stood by the bump, from where you're standing, the truck comes along and you tilt your head to the left to watch it coming along. And then as the truck reaches the bump, the people in the bed are bounced upwards upon hitting the bump. So you watch them, they're then in line with you, you're looking directly at the bump, 90 degrees to your position. They go up and down. But when they come back down again, there's no longer a truck underneath them. So from their position, they seem like they've come curving out of the truck. But in reality, because it's an illusion that they've curved out of the truck, because they haven't. They've bounced up and down, but the truck's carried on going from underneath them. So yeah, it seems like they've curved out of the back of the truck, when they in reality have just gone up and down, and the truck's gone from under them.
Ah, I know what this is. That's Coriolis from the spin of the Earth, right?
No, it's just the effect of them leaving the reference frame that was moving along the track, the road, with them attached to the bed of the truck. But when it hits the bump, they get thrown up, no longer attached to the moving frame of reference of the truck bed, and suddenly in the air, not moving along with the truck. Well, the fundies argue that, oh, well, it just carries along with the reference frame, so they bounce up and actually curve forwards, like they actually do curve to follow the trajectory of the truck. Completely absurd. Yeah, they just go up and down. There isn't any real curving out of the truck. They're not curving out of the truck. They're going up and down. The truck's coming from beneath them as they go up and down, not attached to it anymore. And likewise, to have a Coriolis effect, you leave the rotating reference frame. When I say, I've got to be careful. John's caught me on this now and he's on the call. The projectile leaves the non-inertial spinning reference frame, and when it leaves the spinning reference frame, like the truck, the reference frame, which is in 10th man's example, the truck itself, continues to move underneath. So Earth continues to move underneath. Helicopters, if you've got a deviation, you see it seeming to curve away from you. The helicopter's just hovering, staying static where it is, hovering in midair, not moving, not deviating left or right. It's stationary to all intents and purposes. Yeah, it's in midair, but it's not moving. But you moving underneath on an alleged spinning Earth makes it seem like, or should, make it seem like the helicopter curves away from you. Further and further away as you rotate away from it. Well, no, you're not rotating away from hovering helicopters. That simply does not happen. We do not observe Coriolis deviation on Earth because Earth is not moving. If it was, we would. We'd see it curve away from us. Like us being on the flatbed truck, moving away from the people who bounced out. The helicopters bounced out of our truck if Earth is moving, and it should deviate away from us. But no, it doesn't. There is no deviation. Earth simply isn't spinning. Their claim to be Coriolis effect proof of Earth spinning simply doesn't happen. We're stationary. We're not moving an inch. Ever.
It's all just moving lockstep. Sorry,
That was
I'm
that
just
was a
being a baller here.
smegonich.
Smeg?
You used to say smegonich. We're moving a smegonich.
That's Red Dwarf. Don't look at what smegma is. It's pretty repulsive.
Don't bring it up then. Right. So,
Well, like you
if
said
the
on
air is just
yesterday's
moving
show,
in lockstep,
where
and
this
that's the
took it,
reason why it's just hovering there,
Then there is
what's
no
the
deviation.
problem?
then there is no deviation. Something necessitated by a spinning ball Earth. They claim there is a deviation called Coriolis effect from the ground as you observe that hovering helicopter. Violation of the law of non-contradiction.
like you said yesterday, if you paint an X on a roundabout and your drone is sitting on the X on the physical roundabout and the roundabout is turning, it's going to go with the non-inertial reference frame of the roundabout. You power the drone up and you raise it 4 feet, let's say. So it's in the air above the roundabout. If it follows the X on its own, wow, we'd like to see that.
Yeah, in other words, if it follows the X it's taken off from on the rotating roundabout, like the fundies claim the planes and helicopters do, well then that wouldn't be demonstrating it deviating because it's rotating underneath. I.e. the X is no longer rotating underneath the drone. That won't happen. If they ever tried to demonstrate that you could have a drone track along above the X it's taken off from on a rotating roundabout, they're essentially providing a demonstration that proves beyond any doubt that there is no Coriolis effect. And they claim there is one. They claim you'll see a deviation because it rotates underneath. And their fundy bullshit nonsense senile old idiots come along and claim there isn't one. Well, we're here to put that straight. They're holding a contradiction. It can't be deviating and tracking along at the same time. That's a violation of the law of non-contradiction.
And you know what flies in their face with that example, Nathan?
Flies?
No, the only way that drone could follow the X is if someone on the side with a control stick was powered flight doing it.
And in which case, if they say, it's overcome by powered flight on Earth, oh, right. So what you're saying is your planes can overcome 1,000 mile an hour Earth spin in the opposite direction, can they, at the equator? No, they can't. Patently absurd.
My point is, they're going to come up with powered flight and steering, and I can't wait until they do, because what they're saying is they're stuck with the contradiction, right? So they say, well, the reason that it doesn't work with the airplane is because it's powered flight and steering. Except when you're flying straight from Charlotte to LA on autopilot without steering.
Yeah, it's because then they're arguing against the apparent effect caused by the Earth spinning underneath. So they're talking about an observation of a deviation from the ground. But then they juxtapose that incorrectly with the flight itself, which isn't going to ever observe Coriolis effect because it's in the inertial reference frame. The observation of Coriolis effect comes from the spinning reference frame that the plane has left. So all the plane's got to cope with is the Earth apparently turning underneath it as it travels from Charlotte to LA and arrives an hour and a half later because Earth spun underneath to create the effect that the guy on the ground saw. Well, no. You're claiming the guy on the ground sees this effect, but to have the effect, the Earth would spin underneath the planes. And it obviously doesn't.
If there was a direction difference with how much energy it would consume, then most airplane routes would be with the spin of the Earth. And there would be much less the other way. Because at some point it'll become more efficient to just go around the Earth back instead of just putting in all that extra fuel to push it against the wind.
Can I give a couple of shout-outs?
That's not
I'm
the case,
going to
though.
do a couple of obscure shout-outs. Shout-out to Bob Nodal and Quantum Eraser. But for the fact that Quantum Eraser explained a non-adherence to the scientific method that uses the Coriolis effect as a positive claim on the globe side, I and everybody else on this panel would not be in the position to concisely unpack the doublespeak of Coriolis. So, in essence, Bob incorrectly identified a non-scientific evidence, which I addressed. Cost me a lot of subscribers. Subscribe today, I'm almost at 15k. Anyway, that particular that happening led to, as a consequence, us addressing that the claim to be proof of Earth spinning underneath the ring laser gyro used by the FE core team was a utilization of a bunk claim, Coriolis effect, 2 reference frames. So upon unpacking it, I was being given information by Quantum Eraser on how to make it more simplistic and use Foucault pendulum to describe how it swings back and forth in a straight line as Earth rotates underneath. The effect of the Coriolis being brought forth by the Earth rotating underneath. So that cemented this unpacking, that the causes of the Coriolis effect, which you'll observe from the ground as a deviation, people bouncing out of flatbed trucks and seeming to curve when they just go up and down, that's the apparent deviation you should observe from the ground if you have the necessary cause of that effect, Earth rotating underneath that separate reference frame in the gyro, in the aeroplane, in the bullet, in the ball, in anything in the inertial reference frame. So this consistency that I'm now spewing at nausea, for those who've been tuned in for the last week, is as a direct result of Bob Nodell and Quantum Eraser. So regardless of the end result and how at the time it seemed incredibly negative towards Bob Nodell, that's an absolute plus in my book. But for the fact that Bob Nodell put that forward, we wouldn't be so concise in our demolition currently of Coriolis effect. Our understanding wouldn't be where it was if it wasn't for that discourse. So kudos to both of them, especially Quantum Eraser, as he's the one who explained the unpacking to me. So thank you very much, gentlemen. Kumbaya, my lord. Kumbaya. No? Anybody?
Back to the molten marshmallow core.
Start singing that for the ballers. Still can't understand this argument.
I'm just glad that we can get into these conversations with utilizations of their bullshit proof and end up unpacking them amongst ourselves. That's a positive thing, that it only progresses our arguments if we're having this discourse internally rather than with obfuscating fundies.
I think when you use the roundabout to prove real Coriolis, that's where we get thumbs up for being honest. And when we ask them to prove real Coriolis with the Earth rotating, they can't.
Dude, hurricanes and stuff.
No, that's
Yeah,
actual.
but they go both
That's
ways.
actual.
So
That's actual deflection.
You gotta know the difference between actual and
Tell
apparent
them.
first.
Tell them that. I've been telling them that. They don't get it.
Okay, so when the people bounce out of the back of the flatbed truck, they're just going up and down. They hit the bump, they go up. The car moves underneath. The truck moves from underneath them, and they come back down again without the truck underneath them anymore. So they've just gone up and down. Now it seems like they're curving away. The deflection described by Coriolis effect is the seeming to curve out of the truck bed, even though they've only actually gone up and down. Well, hurricanes aren't going up and down and seeming to deviate from the ground because we're spinning underneath them. They do actually deviate. They're actually curving. They're not just seeming to curve from the ground because Earth's spinning under them. That's just a total misunderstanding, punted by double-speaking fundamentalist religious zealots who punt their reified model like Neil deGrasse Tyson, who also asserts hurricanes as some sort of claim to be proof of an apparent deviation from the ground. No, Neil deGrasse Tyson, you fundamentally don't understand the apparent deviation of Coriolis effect caused by Earth rotating underneath that ball you tweeted about. Yeah, not apparent in the planes or helicopters. Yeah, double speaker.
What about the toilet flushing direction, Nathan?
Another actual deviation claimed to be demonstrated differences between the hemispheres people reify. No, that's actual deviation. The apparent deviation caused by you remaining on the reference frame as you watch the bog water go down. It's just seeming to curve down the bog, but actually it's you rotating. And no, this is horseshit.
But isn't the rotation of the Earth causing the water to orientate its spin? I never really got how that's supposed to work, by the way, but...
Even the fundies on the debating circuit down here at the trench level call that horseshit. They know it's horseshit because it can't be... You can't square any of those circles. But hopefully, with a little bit of time, they'll realise they're holding a contradiction when they're claiming there should be a Coriolis deviation, and hovering helicopters are hovering, not deviating. You're not spinning away from them on a non-inertial spinning reference frame. Oh, can you hear us, QE? No sound. We haven't had any sound from you so far, by the way. Even if you can't. We had a slight redemption from Chemo, who in essence showed us a little meme of a guy holding a machine gun on a helicopter gunship. And he's saying I forgot the exact words, but he's essentially pointing out that after a conversation with M. Scott Veach, son of an astronaut, the bullets are going to be deflecting with the Earth rotating underneath, but the helicopter isn't. Well, that was quite good.
Right. Yeah, I wanted to delve into that. Is it that they claim that bullets are the only things performing this Coriolis because their momentum overcomes the friction of the lockstep moving air, as it were, and then still have their rotation momentum left? Is that what they're claiming about it?
I think personally,
Because it always confuses the hell out of me.
The only reason I think they even use that as an argument is because somebody somewhere put it in a manual, in some type of military manual, and they thought that this is proof that it's actually happening, so that we have to present this as proof.
Well, maybe. I'm just wondering what that claim is, how it's supposed to be overcoming the lockstep air reference frame that's part of the Earth reference frame. So I wonder if it is the momentum that overcomes the stationary air reference frame around the
They're saying the
rotating
bullet's
Earth
more
that makes
aerodynamic.
it supposedly deviate.
I've got the answer.
And perform
I've got the
Coriolis.
answer. They're saying the bullet's more aerodynamics, therefore isn't affected by the air, whereas the helicopter's less aerodynamic and being pushed along by the air that's travelling with the atmosphere. It's the height of double speed.
That is it.
Yeah, even though bullets do generate heat and heat up as they cause friction through the air they're travelling through and absolutely affected by it, apparently anything with a short hang time suddenly isn't affected by friction. So I'd like to know from anybody who punted this bullet not being affected by the air that's pushing along the helicopter bullshit. I'd like to know why balls. I wonder if they're as aerodynamic. These footballs that these guys throw. I wonder why they're having the Earth rotate underneath, according to heliocentric priest Neil deGrasse Tyson. But yet bullets, with their super aerodynamic efficiency, they're cutting through the air and being affected by the Earth turning underneath. But yet so are balls? I wonder which is more aerodynamic. You know, ball, helicopter. Maybe balls are that much more aerodynamic than helicopters, but interesting.
And Neil deGrasse was even talking about a football being thrown, right?
Oh, God.
Kind of how they're made. He's talking about a field goal kick, which is worse.
Yeah, man.
Not
You know that
aerodynamic in that
professional
way.
football, with professional football, man, you got to get your Coriolis right with those throws. You got to get it right or it's all over, man.
I guess. Unless the Earth's not spinning, then you don't have to worry about any of that crap.
Yeah, good stuff.
No, but that would be going too far because, look, a ball being thrown is not going to have sufficient momentum speed in order to make the air friction supposedly negligible for a while. So, in that sense, that could never work even according to that system.
The actual Cincinnati Bengal game is the ball was being kicked for a field goal. Throwing a
That's not
pass
good
is
enough.
different.
Yeah,
So
that's what I.
Neil,
It's
That's
not
what I
good
meant.
enough.
That's what I
well,
meant.
let
It's
me
not
finish.
even being used in the aerodynamic way that it's kind of designed when you throw it. It's being kicked. So that's worse aerodynamically, I would think.
Exactly. So what is important is to go to every football team and look up the head coach of the Coriolis training manual.
Yeah, but no. Why do this? It's obviously not there. But I'm still
the point.
figuring out if the heavy momentum of a bullet could theoretically do that. So, for example, if a guy with a gun, with a pretty good, like a sniper rifle, a proper gun, not just some revolver or something, would be on a spinning roundabout, and it was spinning pretty fast, and he would shoot. Would then the moment the bullet leaving the gun, would it keep its momentum?
You want to see Coriolis with a
No, but
gun?
would it? No,
Watch
I
the
don't really
movie
want to see that.
Wanted.
No,
Watch the movie Wanted, where they're throwing bullets with their guns.
Oh, come on.
It's the same shit.
Come on. No way.
There was an actual
You guys
question.
you guys are arguing within the fallacy here. That's why it doesn't make any
No,
sense.
no, I'm
I
arguing
can't let
about
that slide.
mechanics.
I can't let that slide.
I wanna know it.
Hold on, Owen. No, Wanted just defies all physics. It's not demonstrating Coriolis. It's just bullshit on the highest of levels. You can't.
I'm just wondering.
I just want to get this in. I just want to get this in.
Reference.
Do you want to get this in, Arwin? You can't spin around with a gun, right, and then have it fly around a pillar. That defies all physics.
That was not what I was asking.
That's chocolate. You blame chocolate, man. I'm
the
cutting you
moment
off because of bloody
it's shot-
chocolate. That's chocolate. Blame him.
What happened?
No, you threw it in. You threw in like that somehow is anything to do with Coriolis when the movie, the fiction that is Wanted, with them literally
Because Arwen
like
wants to
twirling
know how
and
it
throwing
affects
bullets are in
bullets, but it
curves.
I just wanted to know if the heavy momentum of a bullet would overcome air friction, which is partly the cause of actual Coriolis.
Arwin, overcome what? Overcome what now, Arwin?
The air friction.
Air friction? That would be the answer to your question.
What do you mean?
What's air friction? Is it interacting with the air? Rubbing against it, perhaps? They're claiming that does. They're claiming that doesn't happen, Arwin. That's why the Earth continues to rotate underneath it. They're claiming that doesn't
I know
happen.
it's a ridiculous claim, but that wasn't my claim. I was just wondering, does the friction become negligible in the face of the actual momentum force of a bullet? Probably temporarily only.
Does the what? The friction? Does the stop being friction? No, that doesn't happen.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I just say that the force may overcome it so much that it would become almost negligible. Perhaps.
No, it's still friction.
I know I'm not saying it's not friction. I'm just saying that the force might make it, that it's almost not going to affect anything. So it would not be subjected to any push of any reference frame.
Just out of interest, any people who've ever worked with a gun do they need to worry about the wind? Does it just cut? Does it just cut through that and ignore it completely because of aerodynamics now? I can't get any higher than that.
No, no, but definitely not on the short range. It's not wind is not going to be an issue. But if you're going to be doing long range shots, yeah, of course.
So if you were firing a bullet in a hurricane, you got no issues, right?
Depends on how much range you're going to be firing over.
10 yards.
How far is that in meters?
10 meters.
Right. Well, you're gonna have some. Yeah, you're gonna have some deflection, I guess.
Right. Here we go.
I don't know. I've never actually fired a gun.
Boom. Boom. That'll be the end of that then. Boom. Go on. Who is it in Discord? Is it Darren?
If I ever go to the United States, I'm gonna be testing Coriolis.
Look, Arwin's pissed.
Yeah, Mike.
Let it out, Arwin. Go on.
I said if I'm
Right.
ever going to go to the United States, I'm going to be doing so much Coriolis tests with guns. Going to have a huge amount of fun with that.
Arwin wants to feel the warm, soothing lead leave his hand. Anyway, go ahead, Brian. Darren, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, right. 15, what were we on? 22 years ago, I used to be a hot air balloon pilot. And there was one time in Bath, there was zero wind, absolutely zero. We took off, we went to 6,000 feet, and we didn't move a single inch. 1 hour and 20 minutes later, we landed in exactly the same position.
Oh, we've lost you.
Yeah, what did you get?
I got you going up to 6,000 feet and not moving an inch.
Yeah, and basically we landed back in Royal Victoria Park in exactly the same location that we took off from. Surely that proves that there is no Coriolis.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you, first and foremost, to all of today's live debating panel for making this live show possible. If you are watching this on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. A massive thank you to all of you in the live audience for tuning in, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley. Stay tuned if you're watching on the premiering stream, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Hey, I got that crazy flashing again on the end of the live stream, Arwin.
Oh, really?
Button can I press to show it?
Oh, okay.
God damn, I can't find a button quick enough. Ah!
Oh, yeah, it's stuck again. Indeed.
Get it on.
Yeah. I'll present it.
Yeah, it keeps refreshing on my end.
Let's all present it.
Got it. I've got my whole projector up just in
I got
time.
him up.
Isn't that weird?
Oh, shit. No. Ah, damn it.
Weird. Flashing at the end of the live stream. Very strange.
It's an SOS from the algorithm. Please stop.
Quick, demonetize this immediately. Don't let these flat earthers
Read
profit.
the Morse codes, guys.
Yeah, I did it yesterday. I was trying to get it on the live stream. I couldn't get there quick
this is
enough.
not available for recording.
Weird, isn't it? I agree with you, by the way, 10th Man. I didn't get it on the live show, but yeah, I do think we should keep the heat on Coriolis effect, because it's... I intentionally didn't thank you because I was accompanied by a story which might not keep the live audience intrigued. We just don't know. Anyway, there's to switch off from Flat Earth, I was watching various videos, not necessarily because I'm interested in the subject, just because it's not necessarily related, if that makes sense. One of the things was speed running. So if you're a gamer, you'll know I'm talking about people trying to complete a game level as quick as they humanly can. And one of the gamers was playing a game that most people who've ever played a game will be familiar with, called Doom. And in the second iteration, Doom 2, there's this level where you've got to go over these very narrow, maybe 5 or 6 pixel wide ledges. And it's like a little maze that you walk across these ledges and you often fall in. And, you know, in a normal game, that wouldn't matter. But if you're trying to go as fast as humanly possible, it's critical that you don't fall off these ledges. Anyway, this particular gamer who was holding all the records at the time he wrote this was explaining that when he first played these levels, he hated them. Because it didn't seem to matter what he did. They're just kicking his ass every time he goes on them. You know, they're just haunting his life, these horrible, stupid ledges that he hates. However, with enough time and practice, he got good at them. And learnt to love the ledges. Because the ledges were something that, with skill and time, he mastered. He became their master rather than them kicking his ass. He's kicking their ass. They're just ledges. They're not an actual thing, right? He's reifying them. But in his example, you kind of think, well, that's my Coriolis. I started off in Flat Earth, and like most people, you come to the subject of Coriolis, and it's so veiled in doublespeak that you can never perceive like you've actually made the win. It's because I unmute every line. I mean, unmute every line after the live show. I've kept it on mute.
Hey, 2 shows today?
Say again?
Do we have 2 shows today?
No. Wednesday today? No, tomorrow. Anyway, I'll just get to the end of my story. So, Coriolis is like my version of the ledges. I argued it and could never seem to get a win. Even if you got what you thought was a perceived winning point, it got so obfuscated and double-spoken in the reply that you just felt like it would go on for an hour of arguing Coriolis, and there wasn't ever a... For the audience, I mean, the person watching isn't going to perceive that either side has actually won, even if you've got the winning argument and you've debunked their points, pulled them all apart, given rebuttals. They'll hand wave the lot and give you the double speak for the 3rd, 5th, 7th, whatever amount of times. So that was frustrating for me in the debate, because you don't ever get what you need at the end. The payoff is a win. You proved your point. They can't get out. They're in a corner. They're toast to the fire. But you never got that with Coriolis, so I hated it like that guy hated the ledges. Now, I gave him shout-outs on the show for it, thanks to Bob Nodell and QE. It's at the point for the audience and me and everyone on the panel where they spot the doublespeak and can immediately rebut it. Unpack how they've offered the doublespeak and what their doublespeak leads to if it's led to its logical conclusion. Earth and atmosphere is one? No Coriolis. Well, that'll start coming out of people's mouths. And it's driving the ballers absolutely bonkers. Because that was the one... That and gravity, the 2 subjects that were so clouded in doublespeak that they could get away with arguing it just as long as they possibly could till the point got lost. Now they can't. Thanks to Anthony with gravity. Again, another shout out to kudos to Quantum Eraser. And same applies now to Coriolis. That makes me smile. It's like, good, that's progress.
I think you rounded it yesterday when you said when QE brought everyone back to what's the cause of Coriolis. That's where everything changed.
But the argument is, as the guy yesterday said, nuanced. For example, another highlighted point by QE was to say, why would a pilot have to account for a not actual deflection observed from the ground? I'm paraphrasing and adding the answer, but yeah, in essence, planes aren't accounting for Coriolis effect. And in that, you can have a little bit of a humorous giggle when the artilleryman comes on and he's like, oh yeah, there's some software that accounts for it, and you're like, oh, there's a magic Coriolis button that's accounting for not actual deflections. Whoa.
Just like for the gyroscopes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just good
With magical devices accounting for all the ballness and curvature.
But those sorts of conversations progress the understanding of the audience. I think QE's having sound issues because we can't hear him. he's maybe fiddled with his desk somehow, and he's now cursing it. I can just hear him in the background.
I'm good.
Oh, can we hear you? We can hear you.
Yeah, the sound wasn't the problem. I've been having... Something's up. I went to go to your show and hit the live, and it kept on buffering. All the other shows
could be internet issues then.
Say again?
Could be internet issues. Oh, were you about to... I cut you off too soon. You're about to say other shows. What, sorry?
Yeah, other live shows are buffering also. It's not my internet. I got plenty of upload-download speed. I just checked it. All the other live shows are buffering. I don't know.
Have you tried restarting your computer, John?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't want to get down this lane. Maybe we can talk about it afterwards.
No worries.
Sound like you just crawled out of bed, man.
I don't know if you fiddled with that little line, that little square box that's above your mic line. Have you moved that little box at all?
Yeah, I moved the gate.
Yeah, I set it up nicely. Now you're all boomy.
Is it boomy? What about now? How about now?
Oh, don't use my recording to
You're
test your sound. Don't do it. Come on, don't be that guy.
Still booming?
Don't be a boomer.
Yes, this is not a
Fall
sound
down,
check.
go boom, boom.
I'm a baby boomer.
This is
Yeah,
not the sound
exactly.
check start.
Chocolate got it.
Just not the sound check, huh? So I'm booming a little bit. What does booming actually mean?
Fall down, go
Baby
boom, boom.
boomer.
About that Coriolis
Sounds
effect.
It sounds like you got your head in a drum.
Boomy. It means like got an aftertaste to the sound. That's low and basic.
Thanks, voice meter banana. Great job.
Well, that's you fiddling. I set it up yesterday. Anyway, don't worry. It's not that bad that we need to worry about it. It's something that can be adjusted. It's fine for now.
Yeah, Skype's. We're gonna have to take a look at that. I think I hooked it up wrong, but that's okay. We can move on from that for now.
Well, there only seems to be an issue if someone else is on the call with Skype with you. So I think you're right. I think it's just Skype not correctly looking at the desk. But let's not turn this into a shop talk about voice meter. Please. But yeah, we'll do it afterwards.
Not a righteous.
All right.
Who is that? Somebody welcoming righteous.
He must be gone. Hey, Nathan, got a question.
Go ahead.
Why would a baller get upset when you ask them about the curve calculator and where the perspective is? Yesterday, we asked Zanuck what a perspective was, and he got butthurt and just put up some numbers, and then he went mute.
Because they don't have it in their calculations. What they've actually done is hijack perspective and called that effect Earth curve, which annoys them when you point it out.
And there's no actual curve, so that might be a problem too.
To give you an example, just to give you a quick example, the rumpus will argue that with a big enough zoom in your telescope, you would see your own arse in that telescope thanks to refraction and a ball Earth. Well, that would ignore the fact that your own arse around a sphere Earth would be too small to see. But they ignore that fact and quite boldly claim that you could basically see forever because their mathematics ignore the fact that things get too small to see at a given distance. So they don't have perspective. They've used perspective and called it Earth curve in those mathematics. That's why they get
And the
annoyed.
lack of air clarity. Don't forget that one. That's also going to get in the way.
Yeah, but that's true. But we're just specifically focusing on perspective. Why would they get butthurt when you ask them about perspective? Oh, because they've stolen it and called it Earth curve.
Yep.
Yeah, if there was actual curve and they were actually using this calculator to actually find the actual curve, they wouldn't actually get mad. So, yeah.
No, they just duck and dodge that when we talk about it. The ballers got some dance moves.
Yeah, their teachers Neil deGrasse.
Yeah, some of the new rhetorics that are coming out aren't taking hold in the general anti-flat Earth populace. So the fourth dimension affecting the third dimensional or three-dimensional world we actually live in, that hasn't been parroted once. I haven't heard anybody parroting that.
I have a question for you, Nathan.
Go for your life.
Can you explain to me how tectonic plate movement works on a flat Earth?
No.
Can you explain it to us on a ball, and then provide experimental validation for it, along with your explanation? Thanks. I don't remember Nathan making any claims for tectonic plate movements. Have you? Let me ask you a question. Do you go around asking complete strangers questions they never made claims for? Have you tried that? Pull up to a gas station, you see somebody over there, or a petrol station, see somebody over there pumping gas, and you just walk over and say, listen, can you explain, right? If you did it to me with that sort of attitude that you had, I'd kick you in the spheres. Clown.
Okay, you're claiming that the Earth is flat.
That's correct.
Right?
Yes.
So I'm just asking a question. If you're saying the Earth is flat, how do tectonic plate movement work? Yeah.
So you ask it again?
Yeah.
Is that
okay.
I'll freaking remedy?
Yeah, I'll try and give him it back with an example. So, if you say the Earth is a sphere, how do you explain? How do you explain premature sycamore pollination in the north of England, given that you think the Earth's a sphere? Go. Hear the question? Explain premature sycamore. Explain.
See, this is what I get when I ask these type of questions.
Sorry,
because
you haven't
flat
answered me.
earthers have no answer for it.
Sorry, you haven't
It's the
answered
same
me.
way
Sorry, you are not answering me. How do you explain premature sycamore pollination in the north of England? So why should I answer you,
given
that you think
when
you're
you
living
haven't
in a
answered
sphere?
me?
Sorry.
I asked the question first. You said go ahead, ask your question. So I asked it, and then your butthurt buddy jumped in.
Let him get it out. Let him get it out. Let him get his complaint out. Go ahead, my friend. Moan away.
Right? I asked you a question, and your answer to that question is to demand I answer a question of yours.
No, that's not correct. So you asked me a question, and I gave you an answer. Do you remember what my answer was?
I never heard an answer from you. All I heard was
really clear.
You
just weren't listening. Maybe you weren't listening. Maybe you weren't listening. Maybe you'd like to ask me again, and I'll answer it with the exact same answer I gave you last time. Go ahead.
Well, go on then.
Ask me the question. I'll give you the same answer.
Come on, then.
So explain to me how tectonic plate movement works on the flat Earth.
Well, last time you said, can you explain how tectonic plates work on a flat Earth? That was paraphrasing.
Mm-hmm.
And my answer was no.
Is that because it can't happen on a flat Earth?
So, I then tried, but you rumpused me. Let's see if I can try again. To explain with juxtaposition, i.e. a comparison with a slightly different example. Now, my example was to get you to explain a claim that you had not made. So, in this instance, I'm asking you to explain premature sycamore pollination in the north of England based on Earth being a sphere. Now, given that you've not made... I hadn't quite finished. Given that you have not made any claims about sycamore pollination proving or disproving a flat Earth, it seems unreasonable that I demand you explain something you haven't made any claims about, and then upon you not being able to explain premature sycamore pollination in the north of England, declaring that my side of the argument therefore wins, and it's not possible on a globe. So you can't explain the answer to my sycamore pollination question, therefore Earth's not round, my friend. Reasonable? No. But that's what you're doing. I'm trying to explain that to you. Okay.
Okay. So I ask a question relating to the shape of the Earth, and you ask a question relating to pollination.
No. I asked a question in relation to the shape of the Earth. Did you not listen? Given that
how does pollination relate to the shape of the Earth?
You don't listen.
Yeah.
You don't listen.
It doesn't.
He's just lied. Now he's a liar talking through me. Liar. Listen, liar. That's not what I said. I didn't make a claim not based on the sphere Earth. I said, given you live on a sphere, explain pollination of sycamores in the north of England based on you living on a sphere. And when you can't, I'll declare Earth's flat because you can't. Reasonable?
No, you declare Earth flat because it's your religious belief.
Not a religious belief. What are you talking about?
Where you've got absolutely zero evidence of a flat Earth.
Sorry, on screen now for the audience are wind turbines that are perfectly lined up. Now, as they go further away from you, they recede with perspective. Now, when looking at these wind turbines down the line, so to speak, they also disappear with perspective, and that is calculable in your Earth curve maths as being a curve when in side profile they're flat. Flat as a pancake, measurably flat, demonstrably flat, photographed as flat, and
So if the Earth is flat,
and it seems he's now talking through me. He's just lied, said it's a religion and there's no evidence. Literally as he was saying it, there's evidence. On screen now, we have salt flats with an absolutely perfect reflection of the sky above them, demonstrating beyond any reasonable doubt that the Earth is obviously and observably flat. So within 5 seconds of your declaration that I don't have evidence of a religious belief, there's been 2 perfect flat Earth proofs flash by for the audience, and all he can do while I'm pointing that out is start talking again. As I'm at the conclusion, he'll start talking. I've not finished, mate. You know, I gave you plenty of air to make your question that I hadn't made a claim about with regard to tectonic plates, and then gave you a juxtaposition of a different example that is equally as farcical for me to ask you to justify something you haven't made a claim about, and then declare a winning position. Yeah, it's not reasonable, mate. Now, you can rumpus me, but there's plenty of proof. The Earth is obviously and observably flat.
Right, 2 things prove that the Earth is not flat. Tectonic plate movements and the earthquakes, right? Mountain ranges prove that the Earth is not flat. And the sun, yeah? You claim that things get smaller and smaller as you get further away because the Earth is flat due to perspective.
No
But
worries.
yet the size of the sun, sky, stays exactly the same no matter where it is in the sky. Yeah, that doesn't happen on a flat Earth.
Let him get it all out. Let him get it out.
It's
Share
the
your
same.
pain.
You do this because you say antecedent instead of dome. Yeah, because Nathan, you know the Earth is not flat, and that's why you do that. So that when the absolute proof comes out that the Earth is not flat, you can sit back and claim, "But I never ever said there was a dome up there." Yeah.
When it comes out.
Hold on, everyone, hold on. So, okay, where do you want us to start? You started with tectonic plates, and it was part of your list of proof Cs. And I haven't finished talking. I stopped everybody interrupting you now, didn't I, asshole? Yeah, I stopped them interrupting you and let you share your pain, and now you're talking through me like a complete asshole. So...
That's because you're English.
Please, can you stop talking through me when I'm mid-sentence? I'm clearing the air so you can be heard. I'd like the same in return. Thank you. So,
you start... on you go.
No, yeah, don't ask me for permission when I literally start the next sentence. I'm going to have to start getting rude with you. Am I going to have to start swearing at you to reduce me to your level of understanding? Do I have to speak to you like a common chav to get you to understand? Shall I start talking to you like a common chav to get you to understand? Or will you shut up? So, you started with tectonic plates as your proof C of a globe Earth. Yeah. You ended... No, he's not capable of doing it. He's a fuckwit. I'll reduce my level to his level of mental understanding. Oi, fuckwit! Shut your fucking mouth! I'm talking, fuckwit! Oi, retard! Shut your fucking mouth! Now I've reduced my level to... I've had to reduce myself to your level to try and communicate with you, bonehead. Yeah, I'm having to reduce myself to your level to stop you interrupting me. Yeah? I don't want to have to reduce myself to your level just to get you to shut your mouth while I talk. I'll make the example again without interruption, please. So you started with tectonic plates as your proof C of a globe Earth, and you ended with the not actual size of the sun not changing as it moves from its not actual position throughout the day. So I'll start with a question to you. Who cares what the not actual, that would be apparent size, of the sun does through the day? Do you think the not actual actual size of the changing sun proves something, Fundy? Go ahead and explain how the not actual size of the sun not changing as it moves from its not actual position proves your globe. Go.
Because you're the one that sits there screaming and shouting about how perspective.
Yeah, so I'm just going to mute him. He's immediately launched into an ad hominem attack about me sitting here. I've asked him about the not actual size of the sun not changing its actual size throughout its not actual transition of a not actual position, and he's started to ad hom me. Piss me off? Yeah, that will normally. I'm just going to mute him and be overt and tell the audience what I'm doing. Don't ad hom me. Listen to the question and then answer it with a rebuttal, because ad homing me is just a logical fallacy. Not laugh either. How do you feel the not actual size of the sun not changing its not actual size as it moves from its not actual position proves the Earth is a ball? Please answer that. Don't
So you're
attack
saying the
me.
sun's not actually there then? Is that what you're claiming?
I'm asking a
They're not
question.
actual
I will
size.
try
It's
and
not
ask
actual
again
size.
if you'll allow me. My question. How
Go on.
does the... I got 3 words out. How does
You have
the...
permission to go on.
That's 3 words.
Carry
Let me
on.
get out again. He asked me to clarify my claim when I'm asking a
Use your
question.
permission.
I'm attempting to re-ask the question. The Fundy won't let me. I'll try again, 3rd time. How does the not actual size of the sun not changing in not actual size as it moves from its not actual position prove the Earth is a sphere according to you? Over.
So what you're saying is the sun's not actually there. That's what you're saying. But
No,
Yeah.
what I will say now is you're a moron. Like thick, stupid, an idiot. No. You're talking about the angular size of the sun not changing. Angular size is not actual size. You're claiming that not actual size, not changing through the day, proves the Earth is a sphere. I'm not claiming the sun isn't there, you complete idiot. Okay?
right, so how does the sun set then?
I'm asking you to clarify your claim about the not actual size of the sun. Please don't ask me something. Explain how that proves the Earth's a sphere. Thank you. Over.
Because if the Earth was flat, as the sun moves away, it should get smaller, according to you.
Sorry, should get smaller. What, its actual
Yes,
size
according
would...
to you.
Sorry, I'm now responding.
According
That
to
means
all-
stop talking.
Doubt about me.
He can't do it. This is called a conversation.
I've seen your video.
This is called a conversation.
Yeah.
I am
Seen
now
your video.
attempting to respond to an idiot because he can't stop talking after he's made his assertion. You said on a
I'm
flat
the idiot.
Earth,
You're
and
the
now he
idiot.
won't shut up again.
Things get
Ah,
smaller
this is
as it
troubling
moves away.
for you, isn't it, Fundy? What you need to do is make sure I can't be heard while I clarify your nonsense position, right? Yeah? You're a fucking idiot.
You're
And I'm going to
the
tell the
nonsense,
audience
not
why.
me.
Whether or not you like me pointing out just how big an idiot you are is tough luck. From this point on, if you interrupt me, I have to shut down your line. I don't care if you hear my rebuttal or not. You're claiming that the not actual size of the sun would change on a flat Earth? It's not actually the size of it, my friend. Your claim and proofsy of a globe now is malformed because who cares what the not actual size of the sun does? It's not actually the size of it. Do you not understand that?
Right, so your reply to that is, who cares what the size of the sun is as it moves across the sky?
No. Who cares what the angular size is, as that is a not actual size. So your claim is that the not actual size of the sun would change on a flat Earth. That's beyond retarded. Am I speaking slow enough now? Do you get how your proof of globe proves nothing yet?
All right. Okay.
Oh, that sigh I will take as my glorious victory. Excellent. Moving on to tectonic plates. You also asserted that
Okay.
tectonic plates. And now he's talking
would
again
love
through
to-
me after his little sigh of defeat. Now it's time for him to talk because I'm talking. Your time was when you sighed. That crushing sigh of defeat a moment ago. The pause you took to sigh. Now I'm asking for your little proof, see, that you asked me about. That would be tectonic plates. How do tectonic plates prove the Earth is a sphere, Fundy? Over.
Well, we've mapped them out. We know the tectonic plates move. Yeah. Right now, tectonic plates can't move on the flat Earth because
Why not?
surely they would just fall
Let
off the
him,
edge.
let him get to the end,
Unless
please.
you're going-
Stop interrupting him. Go ahead.
So how do they move on a flat Earth?
Sorry, we
Because
haven't
we
heard
know
how.
the tectonic
Sorry.
plates move.
Oh, he's going to keep talking.
Yeah,
He's asked a
that's
question
what
again, and now he's
earthquake-
continuing to talk indefinitely. Of course. I was asking you to explain how they prove the Earth is a globe. So far, they've mapped them. You actually used we. I don't know who this we is.
Do you
Royal
know how
we.
the
I'm
tectonic
talking, of
plates
course. That
move?
means he's interrupting and talking over me and through me. Yeah, I cleared the airwaves, stopped Darwin interrupting you, but that means you've got to continually interrupt me. I've asked you for how this proves Earth's a sphere so far. You've mapped them and it doesn't work on a flat Earth is what we've got so far.
Yeah, well, if you bother to let me finish, retard, right? We know tectonic plates move, right? That's what causes earthquakes, unless you're claiming that earthquakes don't exist, right? But we also know how tectonic plates move, yeah? It's because of the way the lava circulates underneath the Earth's crust, which makes the tectonic plates move.
Arwin, can you stop
Yeah.
interrupting him? Carry on, Fundy. Let us know when you get to the point that it proves the
Right.
globe.
So, if the Earth was flat,
No. You tell us when you get to the point that it proves a globe. This proves a globe because...
This is priceless.
Sorry, this proves a globe because... Not if the Earth was flat. This proves a globe because... Go.
right? Because the tectonic plates move. Yeah? How?
If P, then Q, Q, therefore P, and affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy, we have tectonic plates that move, therefore the Earth is a sphere. The Earth is a sphere because we have tectonic plates that move. That's called an affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy. If P, then Q, Q, therefore P. Circular reasoning for those of you with a low IQ that don't understand affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy. Circular reasoning.
Telling me that the Earth has never had earthquakes, the Earth has never had...
Oh, because if my logical fallacy wasn't true, therefore we wouldn't have earthquakes. This is shite. You are thick. Why are you even here? Do you not watch the show? Did you not realise how quickly you'd get obliterated here?
Yeah.
Well, Nathan, maybe you
How
need
am I
to
obliterated?
explain the affirm the consequence a little bit more carefully, because I
how
don't think he
tectonic
realizes what that means when you do that.
No, he's too dumb to understand.
Because he already said yes. When you
yeah, I know.
explained
While
it.
I was explaining the affirming the consequent, he went, yes, I know, Arwin. That's how dumb he is. He cheered
Right,
when I
so-
explained how it was a logical fallacy and went, yes, that's exactly what I mean.
Right, so explain to him why that is wrong.
I tried. I said circular reasoning. But he just rumpused me.
Oh dear. Okay.
Give him an example in the opposite direction, like I'm full because I ate too much pizza. Therefore, I ate
moves on the
something
flat
like that.
Earth, right? What are they rubbing against at the edge?
I was asking us questions. Sorry. The movement of the tectonic plates is a proof of the globe because we have tectonic plate movement.
Well,
Right.
surely the tectonic plates would fall off the edge of your giant space.
Oh, I see. Sorry. who's claiming an edge? Is that you claiming it as? Let me just explain the next fallacy to him. He's not going to listen. He's just going to keep talking. He's just going to keep interrupting me.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you a question,
Right,
but
so
maybe you won't let me. Maybe you just want to make your
But there
assertions and
has to
keep
be a
talking
container.
indefinitely, and you won't let anybody challenge you or question you on your assertion. So I'm asking you.
I told you this yesterday, man. I don't know
He's
why
not going to
you
listen.
keep bringing it up.
I want to ask him a question. So, the edge that you just mentioned, is that something that we have claimed?
No, the edge.
Or
that
I
you
haven't
imply,
finished.
Nathan.
My friend,
You imply.
my friend, I'm clearing airwaves for you and you're interrupting me every time I talk. So I'm going to give you one last chance to not do that. Then I can't continue this conversation with you. It's too
No, but that-
painful. And now, even while I'm telling him that I'm going to eject him if he interrupts me again, while I'm telling him that I'm going to eject him if he interrupts me again, he's interrupting me. I'm going to ask you a question about your last assertion. Please wait till I say the word over before you speak. So, you are asserting that the tectonic plates would fall off an edge, which you mentioned. I would like to know if that edge is something that we specifically claim, in which case I'd like a quote where we've claimed it, or is it something we call a straw man fallacy? Something that we don't claim, that you will assert upon us so you can debunk that straw man you've built to burn, even though we don't claim it. So is it A, something we've claimed here and you can quote us, or B, something you're claiming we claim so you can set it on fire? Over.
You done?
I just think this is epic.
Yeah, fuckwit. I explained that I would say the word over when I finished my conversation. Then there was a long pause, and now you're asking if I finished, having said over and explained that I will say over and a long pause. Either you are so stupid that you don't know how a conversation works, or you're being a moron by asking if I'm done after a long pause, me saying over and explaining that I'll say over, having had you interrupt me several times during the last 3 attempts to say that. Over.
Okay. Right. Yes, it's you guys that say there's an edge, right? Because you claim that there
Quote, please.
Around
quote
atmosphere.
Are you deaf?
Right?
Are you
For there
deaf,
to be
moron?
a
Go and get a quote.
Oi!
Shut up! Shut up, you lying little sack of crap. Go and get a quote. Don't keep babbling after saying we've said it. Now you get a quote or you become a liar.
You do. You sit there and say, well, you can't
You sit there and you say, now you start with quote. The words I have said will follow, followed by end quote.
Nathan, you say it all the time.
I will hear a quote, not your lies. Lying bastard. That's what we get here. These lying bastards make me furious. I have not claimed an edge. He will never find a quote. He will just say repeatedly, you say it all the time. You sit there and say it. What, this straw man that you've made up? No, we do not. You are a liar.
So now I'm lying. No.
Yeah. You haven't got a quote where I say what you said I say. I do not say that. You are a liar.
Container, unquote.
We claim no edge.
He just said what we claimed was a quote while I was calling him a liar over the top of me like he's actually quoting. So now, for the audience's benefit, regardless of his Discord rumpusing what I now say, I will say the word over, then there will be a pause without anybody else interrupting, and this liar will start by saying, quote, say the words I've said in reference to there being an edge, then say end quote, uninterrupted. Go ahead. End quote afterwards. Quote at the beginning. Over.
Okay. So Nathan quite often says, you can't have gas pressure without a container.
That's not an edge. That's not a quote either. You didn't start with quote and end quote, even though I made it clear for the complete retard who doesn't listen. That's nothing to do with an edge that you've claimed. Quote about the edge. Are you dense? I just explained. You lying sack of garbage. You disgusting human being. You going to sit here and continue to barefaced lie about what I say? You think this is funny? You're a disgusting human being. You are disgusting.
We got ourselves a little goblin here.
Thinks it's funny to just lie about me? This man rapes children.
You don't need to continue.
This man rapes children. This man is a child rapist. That's what he is. I will just make it up. It's true because I made it up. Right? Ha 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 ha. This man is a paedophile. I'll just make it up, and it's perfectly acceptable for me to do so. And when he points out that he's not a paedophile and how he's not a paedophile, I'll laugh in his face and then just reassert the lie. Because that's acceptable behaviour, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Just make something up about somebody, and when they point out that it's a lie, laugh at them and talk through every word of it. You disgusting individual.
You think that's
liar.
Really appropriate, Nathan?
You are a liar. And I'm going to make stuff up about you that's not true, and then just declare it's true. Maybe I'll make up a quote about you and your abuse of children. You say it all the time about abusing children. You sit there and you say it all the time. Don't you?
You have
ha 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 ha! I'll talk through his response to my outrageous claim. I won't let him reply to the outrageous bullshit I've made up about him. And then when he gets the slightest moment to address my nonsense that I've made up, that's outrageous, I'll laugh at you, friend. Do you want to defend what I've just proved about your outrageous behaviour you need locking up for? The police need to come round based on my lie I've made up.
You're the one that needs to be locked up, running around.
You need to be locked up. That's just projection for the abuse that you do daily and you talk about all the time. You're talking about the abuse that you give, and I think you should be locked up for it. This lie that I'm making up about you that I'm going to laugh about afterwards, because it's really funny, isn't it? Talking about you and your abuse. Go on, defend it so I can talk through you non-stop. And then just reiterate my point and laugh if you ever actually manage to address it.
So that's your way to...
You are lying about me. That disgusts me. With my blood currently boiling, it takes every ounce of my fibre, of my being, to remain calm enough and string the words together to explain to you how disgusting a human being you are. You are lying about me. I've pointed out that you're lying about me. You will continue to lie about me. And upon demonstrating that you're lying about me, you laugh. Do you think you've done well here, by the way? Do you think you've done well here with your not actual size of the sun? Do you think this has been a good innings for you, the Fundy Globe Earther? Do you think you've represented Globe Earth belief well here by coming in and asserting the not actual size of the sun proves something to do with Globe Earth, and then asserting that with circular reasoning tectonic plates prove a globe Earth, and then just decided to assert that upon pointing out that logical fallacy that I have indeed quoted something to do with your logical fallacy straw man that you've used here, and then lied through your back teeth about what I haven't said. Do you think you've had a good innings? This is a good showing for the Globers.
What? Nathan, you're the one that has stated every single show you cannot have gas pressure without a container. Are you now telling me that you have never, ever, ever once said that?
And how? Yeah, he says that, but how you end up with
Hold
on, listen.
He's not going to let you. He'll just talk through you non-stop. He's made his assertion. He thinks that's a winning position without an answer. Now he won't let anyone talk.
He said that,
He's just going to talk non-stop. He's made that claim. Now no one's allowed to rebut it because he thinks winning is not letting anybody respond.
How you get from...
Nathan, you've just turned around and
He's doing it again. He thinks if the question's asked again concisely and people get to hear the question the other guy's got to ask, I might have to actually answer it.
Right.
Why are you not calling your little friend a paedophile?
I'm not actually calling you a paedophile. It's a lie that I made up to compare to your lie. Now, when I pointed out that you were lying, you laughed and thought it was funny. Suddenly, you're very concerned about the lie I've made up about you. Is that not funny? I think we should all have a damn good chuckle about the irony here. How concerned you are about being accused of being a paedophile incorrectly. Oh, ha 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 ha! How funny the lies I've made up about you are. How amusing they are to me, the lies about you, and that you might get labelled with this branding that I've made up. Let's just all have a damn good chuckle like you laughed at me when I pointed out the lies you were making up about me. How funny they were, Fundy. How quickly the shoe is worn on the other foot. How pissed off you're going to be now I'm not going to let you defend that accusation. Ever.
What's happened with the air pressure?
Your friend has said it's true, Nathan. Your friend just admitted it's true.
What, true that you're an abusive person that should be arrested? Yeah, I'm sure that is true. You know, I made it up myself. Ha 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 ha.
Well, there you go. He does say that. He does say that.
He says that you're an abusive man. Well, then the police should come round and lock you up. You know, that thing that I've made up about you is turning out to be true, it seems.
It's something you said. And you don't, because
I'm just going to, you know, basically be completely unreasonable in not ever letting you ever get any defence of this lie that I'm making up about you. Yeah, because you're getting very angry about it. Because suddenly when it's a lie about you, you're really concerned about it, aren't you? When it's a lie about me, though, it's really funny, right? Yeah? No, I'm finding it quite funny. This has calmed me right down. Let's let him off the handle a bit. Let's let him defend this outrageous lie. Because it is quite funny, actually. I see how funny you found it now. I can just make up lies about you, and when you go nuts about them, I can laugh my tits off.
It's like, Nathan, your little friend has just come.
Look how angry he's getting. I won't let him talk and see if that makes him angrier.
Can I say something?
Gosh, go ahead.
Oh my God.
All right. Without being interrupted by Hi. He does say how you get gas pressure without a container. But now my question to you, Hi, is how you end up with the edge out of that statement.
Because surely a container would contain the Earth's atmosphere. Yeah.
Would it contain the tectonic plates as well? Or would they spill out of them? They wouldn't be contained. They'd fall off like you claimed with your straw man. Is that what would happen with that container? Yeah. Is the container containing the tectonic plates, or would they fall off like in your example? Containing or falling off?
I'm asked that.
Yeah, it just seems like your position's bollocks and your indefensible position's now being Discord rumpus by you non-stop.
Hey, Hi, when Nathan says he doesn't know what the sky is, how do you interpret?
Yeah, that is my question. I mean, how he gets to conclusions.
No, let him answer. Because Nathan said to have gas pressure, you must have a container, which is a true statement. You can see it all anywhere here on. Then he says, but I don't know what the sky is. So how does this guy pin something on Nathan when we're asking decent questions based on evidence that gas pressure needs a container to have pressure?
Because we state that there's a gradient in the pressure.
No, that's not what he's asking. What he's pointing out is I actually make no positive claim in regards to the sky being a container. I point out that gas needs a container, but I never actually make a positive assertion in regards to Earth and what it is. That's 10th man's point. So even with your example, even if we logically extrapolate that me saying, which I don't, Earth is a container, would somehow have tectonic plates flying off the edge of a container, but I don't actually even make that claim. So when asked for a quote, your quote from me was about gas pressure without a container. That's not referencing Earth, certainly not tectonic plates.
We have air pressure on the ground, and how we get it.
Who cares? This guy said I had a quote about his strawman argument to do with tectonic plates flying off the edge of an Earth we don't assert, and his justification when asked with a two-choice question, is this a straw man or is this from a quote we've given, his quote was in regards to gas pressure without a container, which is devoid of any reference whatsoever to Earth. So his argument's falling on its ass. It's absolutely not a quote that we've used, that's a lie, and it's a straw man argument about his tectonic plates. So he came in with two proofsies of a globe, tectonic plates and the sun, neither are proof of the globe. So we're back to the actual conclusion of the original assertion. He said, I've got no proof of a flat earth. 2 flat earth proofs flashed up on screen for the audience. He then asserted that all of his proofsies for a globe debunk flat earth, which they don't. Then when asked how they prove a globe, we've got a not actual size of the sun not changing when it moves from its not actual position, and the fact that, which isn't a fact, that tectonic plates would fall off the contained edge we don't assert. That's his proof of a globe. This is crap. These people are complete fundies. Now he's heard his position back in terms of what he holds as a globe proof. I hope he's embarrassed, because they're crap.
Right, so tell me how the tectonic plates move on a flat earth then.
No! That's how we started. You demanded I gave your proofsy that isn't a proofsy some justification on a flat earth I don't reify, and I said no. Now you're asking me again because you've been smashed. This doesn't prove a globe, you stupid fundy.
Yes, it does, because...
No, it doesn't. You've affirmed the consequent with it. Yeah, just yes, it does hand wave. Isn't you in any way listening or addressing me unpacking your claim? Yeah? Your claim comes with a straw man argument that the tectonic plates would be forced off the edge of a flat earth we don't reify and haven't got a quote for, and you've had to lie about to make it make sense, which it doesn't. Liar.
Tectonic plates works on flat earth.
He's a liar. He's had to lie about me and it pisses me right off.
No, it's not about lying.
I've lied about even your friend said.
Oh, here we go. How did I... Oh, no, I better not ask that because he'll just tell me exactly how I've lied. You said this wasn't a straw man argument of a reified flat earth model with tectonic plates flying off an edge. You said it was a quote from me. Now, the quote you gave was about gas pressure and it needing containing. Sod all to do with Earth. You're a liar.
You never ever said. You said I lied that you've never said that.
Yeah, I asked you for a quote in regards to your straw man / quote. Is it a straw man where he's made an argument we don't make to burn it, or is it a quote from us about tectonic plates? I made it absolutely clear. I'm very careful with my words because I'm more intelligent than you. You, on the other hand, are a complete fuckwit who lies about me and piss me off. You're just a liar. You have lied. I've unpacked it. You don't have a quote from me about your point about tectonic plates flying off the edge of a model we don't reify. And your example about gas pressure needing containment isn't a positive claim about tectonic plates. That's a lie.
You didn't even have a model. You're sitting there screaming and shouting about how they...
Yeah, about how people lie about me all the bloody time. Yeah, that's you this time. The guy who carries on in the face of doing very badly with crap globe proofs. You're the one who keeps lying about me. That's why I'm shouting at you. Anybody reasonable would. You got pissed off when claimed to be a paedophile now, didn't you?
Well, I told the truth.
Yeah, just Discord rumpusing me constantly now. Just turned into a complete asshole liar who constantly Discord rumpuses. You got pretty pissy when it was claimed you were a paedophile now, didn't you?
I said,
that's pretty funny.
So the second guy, you're done, man. Highlander, they're going to shut up.
I'm a liar, but yet your friends are telling you that you have said that. Yeah? But yet...
I have said there is no gas pressure without containment. Intentionally a new quote, if anybody wants it. That quote has nothing to do with the crust of Earth being containment as per your example and the question I asked. Number one, is this a straw man argument that he has built up to set on fire even though we don't make that argument, or is it a quote from us about how the nature of the crust works? I asked him for a quote in regards to how the nature works from us. He gave me a quote about gas pressure without a container, making him a liar.
So you've never said you can't have...
That's not what I'm claiming. I did not make any claims about his example of tectonic plates. Now he's juxtaposing it like I never said that, therefore I'm not a liar. No, you claimed I made a quote in regards to your example about tectonic plates. That was your claim. I asked you for the quote in regards to tectonic plates. That's what you gave me. Yes, I did say that. It doesn't have anything to do with tectonic plates, which is what you claimed I said, and what you claimed you were addressing when you claimed tectonic plates would fly off an edge of a model we don't talk about or claim, and you said we did. And you said that was the quote that backed that.
So how have I lied
liar,
about you then?
scumbag. scumbag fundy, crap-proof holding scumbag fundy liar.
Nathan, I think you need to calm
Enough
down.
with you, Highlander. Enough.
I think you're going to have a heart.
You're misquoting Highlander,
I
so
mean,
enough with you.
that's
Be
what
quiet.
you
Who's
came
the other
in
guy
here
that
with,
was talking?
tectonic plates? That was the best you had?
Who's
Really?
the other guy talking after Highlander who was asking about the
Me?
gas gradient?
Oh no, that wasn't me.
Yeah, he was talking about gas gradient. Who was that guy?
He went mute.
Yeah. Well, I wonder why.
I know why.
We all know why. They want us to believe that you can have gas pressure next to a vacuum when everyone knows that it will fill the space if that was the case, and we would have 10 to the minus 17 torr here.
That is
They know that.
That is idiotic number.
Oh, it's an idiotic number. So what is
Yeah,
the
it's zero.
vacuum? Hang on.
It's 0 bar. It's near to 0 bar. Nothing more.
Well, before we go to the bar, let me
It does-
ask you something. Is there any atmosphere in space?
What? There's some gas molecules, but there's no pressure. Nothing. It's near to 0.
Did you go up there?
There is no negative pressure. It's only 0.
So when they do the Harvard or MIT experiment, when they take away the middle partition and all the gas pressure moves into the vacuum, what's happening there?
That is the total other situation. It's nothing to do with the air pressure on the ground.
Wait a minute. That's an actual demonstration of
No,
where
it isn't.
Oh, what is it then?
It is more, if you want to make a experiment like this, you need a pipe. Let's make it 10 kilometers long, and you fill air in it, and you will see you get pressure in this pipe, even it's open on the top.
So you got a container. The pipe is the container.
It's open on the top.
Yeah, so you have the
container is only on the sides, so it not flows to the side.
So what would happen over time?
Does Earth have sides? Sorry, does Earth have sides?
It stays there.
Does Earth have sides like that
Over time?
container? Does Earth have that?
Time don't matter.
Does Earth have sides like your pipe?
I don't understand the word.
You said the pipe's open at the top, so it's just the sides. And I'm asking, does Earth have sides like the pipe?
The Earth is about how you can make gas pressure without a container.
No, it's asking about your comparison. Your comparison was to compare Earth to a pipe,
and you get a pressure on the ground.
Yeah, I'm trying to clarify. Your comparison was to compare Earth to a pipe, and I'm asking if it is actually comparable.
You make a small model, yeah.
I'll try once more. Your comparison was to compare Earth to a pipe, and I'm asking if Earth, like a pipe, has sides.
And how did it work? How it works on the flat Earth?
No. I'll try again.
Yeah, what is that?
I'll try once more. I didn't use the words how it works on a flat Earth. That isn't what I asked. I'll try again. Maybe you'll just talk through me constantly rather than answering me, or ask me about how it works on a flat Earth while I'm asking you again for the 5th time. It seems you're talking constantly while I'm talking now, and I'm trying to repeat my question that you seem to be avoiding and just talking through me. So I'll ask, why are you talking through me when I'm trying to clarify the position? You asked me if it was on a flat Earth. I'm answering no. But I will repeat the question I am asking, if you'll allow me, and answer it this time rather than asking me if it's on a flat Earth. The Earth you reify into a sphere in a vacuum, does it, like the pipe you said we need to compare it to, have sides? Your Earth you reify. sphere Earth? Sides. Does it have them like the pipe? Over.
I have no word. I even understand the word you're talking.
You do not
Can't
understand what
the
he
word
said?
talking. It's very segmented. I don't understand what you mean.
Okay, I'll try once more. Do you understand that
Make
the pipe... that is not your cue to stutter and talk through me, thank you. So, you understand that the pipe has a top? Yes? Simple question. The pipe has got a top and a bottom and sides. Do you know what the sides are? The sides of the pipe?
You mean there are no sides on the globe?
I'm asking you if Earth, like the pipe you said it was analogous with, if Earth, like the pipe, has sides.
Yes, we have sides.
Oh, really? I don't see any sides. I'm looking out at my sky right now and I don't see any sides. You seem to be talking through me, pointing out that you're wrong. Earth doesn't have any sides. You are incorrect. A marble isn't like a pipe. A pipe has sides. A marble doesn't.
If you take me out again, I don't talk anymore.
Oh, what's that? What's that? Sorry. If I obliterate your point and shit all over your argument that Earth is analogous to a pipe, when a pipe's a container and Earth's an open system, you'll stop talking. Oh, that's a terrible shame. Maybe people think if you talk through me while I obliterate your point, that somehow that's me talking through you, and that you can play the martyr and piss off like you've won. Maybe do it now. Declare that you've won, even though your analogous pipe with sides isn't analogous to a sphere Earth in a vacuum. Maybe you could protest and piss off like you've won. Because you haven't. I've just taken a big steaming shit on your sphere Earth religion, my stuttering friend. You don't have to like it. You can rage quit. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. No sides on a marble. Not analogous to a pipe, like you said. Okie dokie.
Over. Rest in peace.
I think it was very
Just remember,
unreasonable.
remember, oblate spheroids are the only containerless pressurized systems in existence.
No, that's not true. That would be a violation of the second law of thermodynamics. Oh, did you mean the reified sphere world that we don't live in, that isn't real?
Yeah,
I
mean
see.
in these heliocentric hooligan model.
In the model, yes, that's correct, yes. In a model that we don't live on, they have the only violation of that natural law that is in existence in our world that we do live in. But in their model, it violates it, and that's all good. In fact, according to Rumpus, the second law doesn't even apply in that model.
Well, according to this guy, we live in the sphere with sides.
You can't have gas pressure without a container. The pipe is a container. It's got sides. Or, for those of you in the comments, that guy just won. You know, tell us with your delusion how that was him winning and how I'm very unreasonable. Because that'll mean you've got a sphere still.
That you're on. So I asked someone, do you guys believe that if you're on a big enough mass, something could drop and you won't even see it? And they believe it. They believe if you're on a big enough mass, the rate of fall will be so fast you can't see it.
As in
which is what
as in geosynchronous orbit.
No, there's so they say because of the size of mass we're on, that's what causes the 9.8 meters per second rate of fall. And so I said, so you're saying if you increase the mass, then you increase the rate of fall. And they agreed, and they said, yeah, if you're on a big enough mass, you could theoretically drop something, and it'll hit the ground before you see it.
Yeah, the contrast to that is what they claim on the moon. The moon has a lower mass, therefore they claim lower gravity on that light in the sky in a second law of thermodynamics violation. Well, they say that you drop the hammer and the feather and they're dropping much slower because there's a lower gravity, or they jump higher because there's lower gravity. It's the just inverse of what they're saying. If you increase the mass,
right,
it'll move so quick you won't see it. It's just horseshit.
So I wonder if you could decrease a mass so small that there would be no rate, where it would just, you know, is that 0g? I mean, 1/6 gravity, that's pretty crazy of a rate of fall. So you'd have to decrease it enough to where, you know, it takes like, what, 30 seconds to fall? Is that what they believe? I mean, how small of a ball would you have to be on?
I don't know, you'd have to ask them about fourth dimensional space-time bending and gravitational accretion in the Einstein reified nonsense. Very calm ending to this show.
What's flying upside down?
Well, a tectonic plates.
Sorry, what upside down?
See, this is your concept of up and down is not correct. In space, there is no up or down. There is no left or right. No matter which direction you're facing, you are always upright. Yeah.
Well, okay, then in space time,
towards your feet.
Yeah. Hey, hi. In space-time fabric, which direction is the Earth moving towards the sun? Is it moving down towards the sun or up towards the sun? Because there's a gravity well.
It doesn't move up or down.
There's a gravity well. The sun is what's causing the Earth to fall into itself. So, or the sun. So, is it falling toward the sun on a linear plane, or is it falling toward the sun in a gravity well going up or down?
There is no up or down in space. This is what you don't
how
get.
could there
Beyond his crap claim, right, he's got nothing to actually argue with. He hasn't got the vaguest idea how space-time bending gives rise to gravitational accretion, which is essentially what you're asking him. He hasn't got the vaguest idea. So all he'll do is repeat his claim. There is no up and down. We've heard his claim once. I'm trying to parrot his claim, but even when I'm trying to parrot his claim, he won't allow his third repetition to come through me. He'll just rumpus me because he's assuming that I'm not doing something in his favour and need shutting up. Your claim is there is no up and down in space. We've heard it twice. Now he's asking you about the gravity well claimed to be in the fabric of space-time that would give rise to gravitational accretion. He's asking you about that. Do you understand that? Or will you just babble on about your claim again for the third time? I'll take that as a no. You don't understand the subject being discussed, but you won't admit that. You'll just go silent.
I was just about to speak, and then Nathan just interrupted me again.
Oh, the long pause I left wasn't long enough. It was clear that him interrupting me in that long pause, I was just waiting to give a really concise explanation of pseudo-Ramonian force space. Oh, tell us what pseudo-Ramonian force space is, please. Tell us, Fundy. What's pseudo-Ramonian force space? You're about to tell us all about it, weren't you?
No.
What is pseudo-Ramonian force space? You just said you were about to tell us all about it, but I interrupted. Over?
No, I never. I never said that.
I'm asking you, what is pseudo-Ramonian force space? Question mark. Whoever's not on mute while we hear your background chatter, can you pop yourself on mute? What's pseudo-Ramonian force space, please?
I never said that I was going to do that, Nathan.
I know you didn't. I'm asking you what it is. I didn't say. You said the word pseudo-Ramonian force space. I am asking. I am asking. I know I didn't say you said it. You stupid dick! I'm asking you what it is! What is pseudo-Ramonian force space? Just because you haven't said it yet doesn't mean that something I have said can be completely hand-waved because you haven't actually said the words I said. I had this all day yesterday with bloody Coriolis. I didn't use those words. No, I did. I'm asking you with new words that maybe you don't understand, which is why you won't answer me. So, do you understand the words I'm using? Or maybe you could answer me. What's pseudo-Ramonian force space, fundy moron, who doesn't understand what I'm talking about right now?
Right, okay, I don't know.
Yeah, we know. That's what I pointed out. In response to the other guy asking you about gravitational accretion, you repeated your claim, rather than having some humility like I forced you to have now, and saying, I don't know what you're asking me. I only know I've got a claim I want to repeat, because I'm a dumbo.
All I said was that there is no up
or down in space. Yeah, that's the third time we heard your claim. So in me pointing out that you haven't got the vaguest clue about the bending of a fourth dimension, the geometry of pseudo-Ramonian force space, the thing he's asking you about, I point out you haven't got the vaguest clue, you admit you haven't got a clue, and your defence thereafter is to repeat the claim for a third time. Exactly as I predicted only 2 minutes ago. These thickos are so predictable. It's untrue. Even when I'm literally dedicating to the air my prediction that he'll say it for a third time, he'll still do it. That's how dumb he is. We heard your claim! No up and down in space. I even repeated it while you rumpus the shit out of me. The point here is he's asking you about something else in relation to your claim of no up and down in space, but you don't understand the question he's asking and therefore haven't got a clue how to respond. So your response is to repeat your claim 3 times. Dumbo. Why have you come here? Did you think you were smart and you'd somehow make progress for the fundies? I asked you this before. Why are you even bothering to be here when you're fundamentally retarded and clearly going to have your ass handed to you 6 ways from Sunday?
I'm retarded.
Yeah, you're retarded. You don't understand pseudo-Ramonian force space, but have entered into an argument with a claim about that very thing. No up and down in space? What? Yeah. So you're going to explain that geometry? How does that work in the geometry for space in that regard? Yeah? The geometry, my friend, that I'll try and explain while the thickest person here talks through me, the geometry for that claim you're making would be pseudo-Ramonian force space. Something you don't fundamentally understand, but keep spewing your claim to people who do understand it. Understand it we do. You don't, we do, we understand it and how to debunk it, but you won't listen because you're so stupid you think that a repetition for maybe the 4th time of that same claim will undo the fact that your ignorance isn't going to help you along with your argument here, especially in the face of people who do understand the geometry of space-time, do understand gravitational accretion, understand implicitly what you're claiming and how to debunk it. You think you're going to win here, ever? All you're going to do is demonstrate that you are retarded. But you say with an upward inflection, you think I'm retarded. Yeah, we do. Demonstrably by the words and actions you use.
Right. I am the retarded one.
Yes. Retarded means held back. Now, in this regard, we are talking about the bending of space-time, which you're making a claim about, but cognitively you can't argue your own point because you are mentally held back.
More intelligent.
More intelligent, no. Held back mentally.
Relativity and space-time.
Oh, well, go on. Babble on about how bloody intelligent you are. Go on.
You came in here with plate tectonics, bro. Like, that was supposed to prove something?
Yeah, it was a straw man. He had to lie about me using that straw man. Piece of shit liar.
Yeah, hi.
Got anything other than plate tectonics to prove this ball that we live on?
Yeah, not actual size of the not actual sun as it moves from its not actual position. We also took a dump on that from this moron.
Hubble 1 and Hubble 2 destroy everything you've ever said.
Where's Hubble?
Where's Hubble? Right. Where is that again?
Where's Hubble again?
Where do they? Where do they keep that?
Unless you're claiming that mankind's greatest space achievement isn't real.
Space.
Space.
Is that what you're saying?
What space? Is that a vacuum next to a gas pressure we breathe? Oh, that's a violation of a law of nature. Space isn't real.
Not possible.
Is that the container that must be up there, Nathan, that you said is not there?
Sorry, he's just used that same straw man I got really angry for him earlier with. So I think this guy's time's going to very quickly come to an end.
Is your little dome
If
up
you're going
there,
to lie
Nathan?
about what
How
I've said
far
again,
is
my
your dome?
friend, you're gonna exit this call, because I'm not going to listen to you lie for a second time about what I've said. So be very careful with what you claim I've said.
Oh, I know you said there's a dome up there, Nathan.
Son of a bitch.
No, he's never said it. In over 1,000 shows, no one has ever heard him say.
Oh no, he
antecedent. Well, why did you just say he did that? No, he's saying for air pressure you need an antecedent.
He's not
You know, there's
included
more
in the
proof.
conversation anymore. I'm not going to include him. He's a
of a
liar.
dome.
No, it's not the same thing. What are you?
He can't hear you anymore.
Idiot?
Gone.
He can't hear you
I'm
anymore.
not going to have him lie about me twice
Yeah,
when I got so furious the first time. You know, he's just lied. I know you've said there is a dome. No, I haven't said that. That's a lie. Another lie that he must use to make his straw man fallacy argument. And I'm tired of it. People ask me why I get so triggered. Yeah, because people come on and make up stuff about what I haven't said, and it's infuriating. Like, he got annoyed when I made up something about him. He got really pissed off, right? Yeah, but when it's me, they laugh.
Well, and it's just a tactic to try to pigeon corner you in, just to so you or pigeonhole, whatever. But just so you'll say something, oh, he believes there's a dome. Oh my God, you're a domist. You know, it's just a stupid tactic.
But he came in here with tectonic plates as his proof of a ball. Right.
Which, what I heard, is still a theory that it's
colloquial theory. Yeah.
Asking about water levels rising and falling.
Oh, wait a second. That's a colloquial theory, not a theory.
Yeah,
not
I
a
just said
scientific
that.
theory.
Great minds. I just said exactly those words. Colloquial theory, yes.
Which is funny, though, but in Wikipedia, they call it a scientific theory.
No way. They say it's scientific theory. Those are the words in Wikipedia in regards to tectonics.
Yep.
No way. I'll have to have a look at that.
Pangea, we trust. They're Pangeists.
Nah.
I don't know if you heard. You know what Pangea?
Nah. And what they say is,
Yeah, I would.
They move like a centimeter every year or something, like something silly like that.
Well,
no, out of here.
Right. Does this include the water levels rising and falling? I mean, how are they correlating that into the measurement?
I honestly don't know, but like John was quick to defend me with, thank you very much, John. I don't make any claims about tectonics. I haven't got a clue. Maybe there are tectonic movements. So what?
That makes it weirder on a ball.
Yeah, that I'd agree with too. Yes, it would.
Where you got tectonic plate, yeah, it makes it much more perplexing thinking about that happening on a sphere.
Well, I live in California, and I experience earthquakes on a monthly basis, small tremors to a little bit bigger ones. That doesn't prove the Earth is a sphere.
Well, it does if you formulate a logical fallacy.
Oh,
so I was just going to say, the way the guy used it was just to formulate a logical fallacy and then assert a straw man against us and how it would work on... This is why you have controlled narratives. This is why you have controlled opposition. He's got that idea that we have a plate that slips off the edge of a disc because of Flat Earth Society. They need people to have plenty of straw man arguments to present, so they can all chuckle amongst themselves when they debunk them.
So when I take out ice cream, from
slide off the edge.
When I take out ice cream from the refrigerator and starts melting, does that prove the sun is closer to me?
As if you formulate it into an affirming the consequent form of logical fallacy.
Well, that's all they're doing then. But it's actually proving heat goes to cold, right?
Sure. What was the other guy asking about sliding off the edge? Sorry, 10th man.
No, is that what the guy said? That if the Earth was flat, that the plates would slide off the edge? Is that what he said? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Yeah, he thinks the continents would slowly be drifting and they would fall off the edge. Even though if there was an ice wall, I mean, then you'd think the continents would be pushed to the ice wall, not fall off the edge. It'd still be contained. But no one has ever considered it. No one believes that. No alternate Earth or whatever you want to call has ever said, oh yeah, tectonic plates are. They don't even bring that up. I don't even know if most of them believe it.
Nathan has a problem with the ice wall. Just FYI.
What
Well,
ice wall?
no one's measured the Earth. We don't know how big it is.
Hold
Or
on.
they have, and it's
Do
suppressed.
you not have a problem with the ice wall? Do you think there's an ice wall, QE? I hope this doesn't descend into a massive blazing row.
Yeah, there's an ice wall.
I love the ice wall theory.
Hold on.
I mean, I've seen
Hold
something
on.
that looks like an ice wall.
What
I just
ice
don't know
wall?
if it goes all
What ice
around
wall?
Earth the way they propose.
Move the ice wall.
What ice wall?
Well, the circumference, or what is it called? You know the circumnavigate. No, what is the call? Circumvent. The circumventing
Circumnavigate.
of the ice wall around.
Yeah. Ooh, Columbus.
Yeah, I dig it.
Sorry, this is Columbus's account, right?
I don't think
No.
Columbus accounted the ice wall.
No, not
I
Columbus.
think I was
Who
the
was
Cook
it?
Like
story.
Captain Cook.
Cook, not Columbus. Sorry, my bad. I meant Cook.
Yeah, actually, funny thing about Columbus and Magellan is they tell us that they circumnavigated. They just came right back the way they came. And Magellan died before he got back. He didn't circumnavigate nothing. And Columbus didn't either. They just went right back. But it's interesting. They teach us they did. They want to force that programming.
You're diverting away from Nathan's ice wall.
I think you're talking about. I know. I think you're talking about Cook. Cook is the ice wall captain. And I dig it. I think it's if the sun and moon were like a clock, and the sun had some heat, and there's ice in the center, it doesn't get all the way to the center, it doesn't get all the way to the edges. I dig it.
All right.
But there is some weirdness about Antarctica.
So Cook's account's cool,
It's a
right?
reification fallacy.
What about that other dude? He's like similar to Cook. Armstrong. What about his accounts about world?
Third as well.
Yeah. I got you.
No.
Oh, you're saying, you can't. I don't say I believe Cook. It could be a whole fabricated story.
Well, there might be other things to go on. What else you got?
Well, I think it's kind of odd, though, that Antarctica is so mysterious as it is, and there are no real pictures of the poles. There's no pictures of anywhere, but any pole.
I
really.
don't disagree with any of that, right? But that's not what we're talking about, is it? We're talking about an ice wall that goes around us in a big circle now, aren't we?
Oh, yeah. No, there's no real proof. I mean, the only proof you could probably get of an ice wall, but maybe not a circled wall, is there are pictures of ice it's really high, and there's a ledge. So at least there's maybe, an eighth of a wall,
An eighth of a wall?
we at least have an eighth of a wall because we see pictures of massive ice shelves. With that we do see.
So if I say there's a giant brick wall all the way around us, and then show you a bit of the Great Wall of China, I'm all good, right? There's a brick wall all around us.
No. Of course not. I'm not saying you can connect it, but I'm just saying, do we have a tiny little proof of an ice wall? Well, kind of, because there is an ice shelf that we see loads of pictures of, and we don't know how far it goes and if it actually circles around. But, that's the closest probably to an ice wall you're going to get.
That's not really that. I'm not convinced.
Oh, I wouldn't be either.
Where's Anthony?
John, you got your base extra hard right now because you're very.
I know Anthony's argument about the ice wall. I could repeat it. He says that the sun.
Wait,
would
what
melt.
is he? How does he say
He says
that there's an ice wall?
It's a logical extrapolation based on the sun melting out a hole in the ice. My reply being, "What ice?"
Yeah,
his answer is, I'll tell you his answer too. His answer, the ice that the sun's melting a hole in.
Yeah, I wouldn't use that either. I mean, that's what I was trying to tell you. That's just the model that they present us with the AE. The ice is melting in the center, and then around it, or not in the center. It's not melted in the center, but on the outsides it is. And then it gets.
You know that the North Pole is the center of the Earth. How do you know that?
Right, exactly.
He's asking. Yeah,
that's
good
the
question.
the model we're presented. With the model we're presented, that's how that AE map. That would be a perfect way to have an ice wall for sure.
But that's just
If there was
a globe projection. You can easily reproduce the thing from any point. So, you know, Nick Fouquet-Word recently highlighted this quite well. So he shows you a couple of different projections that have got the north and south hemisphere connected together on a flat map in various different ways. But he also shows the southern azimuthal equidistant projection. So it's an azimuthal equidistant projection from the South Pole rather than from the North Pole. And he shows that in the AE projection, essentially the top half of it, or the centre section, just works the same as it does on the hemisphere projection on a sphere itself. But the bottom doesn't. None of it works. But then you put it on a southern projection, and none of the top half works. It does in the way it's supposed to be projected. That map always works from the centre out in terms of getting your accurate measurements, and it will always work that way. But it's not working when you're tracking from a continent across the map. That's not how it's designed to work. But you do get quite an accurate working model when you start projecting it from Antarctica at the centre. So when someone says, well, the North Pole's obviously the centre of that, why? You can project it from anywhere. The fact that people have got lots of flat Earth projections, or they hold them up as flat Earth projections, they're not, they're globe Earth projections. And the fact that the UN has got a bloody azimuthal projection without the Antarctic ice wall, it's got a reef. Well, so bloody what? It's just a globe projection. We haven't got any flat Earth maps. We haven't got the Vegas clue where everything is really laid out. It's all totally split up, compartmentalised, fractioned into millions of different projections of how the Earth should look, all based currently on how a sphere is projected out onto a flat map. Well, we don't know how they got the sphere from the flat world we live on. So they're all a dead end. Now, it was one of the first things I covered with Martin. Big shout out to Flat Earth British. That was his first major interest, all of the maps. Going through all of them, right down to the super ancient ones, which we went out and had a look at. None of them have got anything to offer, in my opinion. They all work in the way they're designed to be working. The AE map, case in point, works from the centre out. Does it work? Yeah, it does. Does it work if you track across it? No, it doesn't.
AE map also assumes the movement of the sun and the moon to be in a circular pattern. And we don't know that for sure because from our observations, we know that the sun and the moon move in an analemma, in a figure 8 pattern, which is not circular as depicted.
Right, I'd agree with that too. When you track the sun based on that map, it matches up nicely. So what?
Yeah, that was the first thing I actually saw a long time ago, was this solar dilemma. But no, I think you're taking a guileless approach, and that's good because most people will just adhere to one model as soon as they see it. And I'm not saying I believe it, but I like the AE model. I love the ice wall. I love the stories around it. I don't know if it's true, but I like your approach. You have to question it all. I mean, yeah, it is. Of course, I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. It's just a model, and I don't know how the sun's really moving, but the analemma sure shows an interesting pattern for sure. And I think the moon does it too, right?
Yeah.
I think actually most of the planets do it, or the wandering stars, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
I
problem
mean-
with models.
Yep. Yeah, agreed. They're all just models. But with the whole clock thing, and it's just so interesting. If the stars were the seasons, the moon was the month, the sun was the day, damn, that would be fun. And if it was just like a clock,
It is.
I agree with you there.
second hand. Oh my
Hold on.
Sky does act like a giant clock.
Well, that still is. Yeah,
It is.
That still is. But
That's where
if it was in the shape of the AE,
But that is what it is. Our concepts of time have been derived from these bodies. So that's where we get all these concepts from in the first instance. So that when you say, well, it is a clock, that's what you're looking at. It's tracking time.
Well, what shape is the clock? You know what I mean?
Sun-shaped, moon-shaped.
Well, sure, you're right. Well, that's the shape of the second hand, so it's I guess circular.
Oh, no,
not the second hand, but of the hands.
It's not a clock in that regard. It's not mechanical with a second hand. It's just moving its apparent position in the sky relative to what you can see, but it's cyclical.
Okay, yeah, totally.
Yeah, just to kind of help you out, it's like the moon determines the month, the sun determines the day, and the celestial positions determine the year. That's what it look at.
Right on.
Yeah. No, I've been seeing that. I saw something with the Big Dipper making a swastika around the Polaris. You guys have seen that, right? The swastika and savastika, and it
Sure.
shows the seasons perfectly.
Right.
So yeah, I totally dig that. But it kind of makes sense if we do see these stars moving around in a circle. At least, there could be some sort of a shape coming out right there.
Well, I like the fact that the Globetard today said that the sphere has sides with an open top, and that's how the atmosphere stays in.
Yeah, I like the guy's
The
moans.
Scientism is strong.
I like his moans afterwards. Oh, well, if you're not going to let me completely rumpus your demolition, I'm going to leave.
And then he says, well, I know how to keep the atmosphere next to a vacuum. The globe has sides, but an open top.
That's why I call them spheroiders, because they roid over their model and they just get all jacked up. And if they're not right, they'll either roid quit or, rumpus you. A lot of R's here.
Just a little shout to Highlander. Earthquakes prove one thing. Earthquakes, not the shape or nature of the earth.
And mapping is not causation. Just because I draw a map doesn't mean that's the cause of the ground underneath of it, or the ground that represents.
Apologies to anyone wearing headphones for that slight jump scare.
It's all good. Lily's good. How's Clover?
Great. Really good kid. And Eleanor's at her first day of nursery, so hence everything's really calm here.
Awesome.
By the way, good job on hitting home the Coriolis effect. I think people understand that it's an apparent deflection. It has no physical effect.
I'll assume that kudos was going QE's way.
No physical effect unless you're in that non-inertial frame of reference.
Right.
And here we go.
Oh, that's right. That's correct. Unless you're on the spinning, rotating Earth, you won't see any deviation. That's right, Sonic.
Correct. Oh, perfect.
Hey, Zanuck.
So
Yeah, but you're seeing an apparent deviation. The thing's still going in a straight line.
From the inertial frame of reference, yes.
So
but on the non-inertial frame of reference, you're actually seeing a real deviation.
That's what makes it apparent.
No, you're
not
not
actually
seeing a real
deflecting.
curve, Zanuck.
Look, if you're on the rotating merry-go-round, you are seeing the ball deflect to the right. If you're on the side of the merry-go-round, it's going straight. That's simple.
Because the merry-go-round is turning underneath.
No,
it has
that's
nothing
not-
to do.
that's not what's
The ball looks like it's curving. But it's really not.
Hold
The
on.
merry-go-round's
Stop
turning
for a second and think about this for a second. Now,
No, I'll clarify what he's just said because you're about to obfuscate it, Zanuck. The reason you see a deflection is the merry-go-round turning underneath. So if we then transpose that up to a sphere Earth, then I would like an answer to the following question. How fast is Earth rotating underneath a hovering helicopter to demonstrate this must-be-there effect of Coriolis on a spinning Earth?
no,
Give it me in
because you're just
miles
saying this
per
for
hour.
months and it's not true.
Give it me
it's
in
moving
miles
the
per
exact
hour.
same rate, or near the same rate.
Sorry, give it me in, how
They're
fast
moving-
for there to be a Coriolis deviation, Earth must rotate underneath, and I want to know how fast in miles per hour Earth rotates underneath a hovering helicopter to give you the must-be-there effect of you seeing
That's
it
not how it
deviate
works.
as you remain on the non-inertial reference frame. Now,
That's not how it works.
you just said that you remain on the non-inertial reference frame, and I clarified that you are correct. Upon remaining on the non-inertial spinning reference frame, when something leaves it, like a ball leaving a roundabout in your example a moment ago, the helicopter's leaving the spinning Earth, and we're going to stay on it and observe it drifting, aren't we? So how fast
No, it's
does
gonna
the Earth
stay
rotate
forward.
underneath? See, Zanuck, what he's doing now is each and every crescendo of the demolition, he's going to talk through me. So from now on, overtly, like I said earlier, I will mute Discord because I will be heard. I'm not going to allow Zanuck to talk through every single conclusion. He's declared that upon remaining on the non-inertial spinning reference frame, you see a deviation. He gave an example of a roundabout with a ball leaving the spinning reference frame and seeming to curve. I'm now asking that given a helicopter's left the spinning frame of reference of the spinning Earth claimed to be spinning underneath that helicopter, how fast in miles per hour does the Earth spin under the helicopter, which it must do to give you the deviation claimed to be there, called Coriolis. It's going to seem to curve away from us, even though it's stationary, because Earth's apparently turning underneath, and I want to know how fast it rotates away from us, seeming to curve, given that Earth's rotating underneath in this Fundy's world of spheres. In miles per hour, please, Zanuck. How fast is Earth rotating underneath the hovering helicopter to give us that apparent deviation we must have?
The helicopter does not accelerate or decelerate or change the velocity of reference to the Earth.
I didn't ask that. I asked how fast Earth rotates underneath, as it is claimed to do, in order to give us this claimed deviation. It's going to seem to curve away from us. That's Coriolis. The seeming to curve away bit being it hovering and us rotating underneath, and I want to know how fast we're going to be rotating underneath this hovering helicopter, Zanuck.
You don't rotate underneath.
Then there isn't a Coriolis effect on Earth. Oh dear, Zanuck's just debunked that there's a Coriolis on Earth. Because it has to. There must be a deviation. According to all globe Earth rhetoric, there's a Coriolis effect. If it's not moving underneath it, there isn't Coriolis. The Earth's not spinning, Zanuck. It must spin underneath it if you've got Coriolis.
No, it doesn't.
Well, then there isn't a Coriolis effect. Ergo, Earth is not spinning. Zanuck's conclusively proved there isn't a Coriolis effect. He's just made it plain. Earth's not spinning underneath this hovering helicopter. There is no Coriolis effect. Earth isn't spinning.
It is spinning.
No, it would be spinning underneath the helicopter. I asked you for how fast in miles per hour, and you said it isn't.
Helicopter. It does not spin underneath the helicopter.
Yeah, therefore there isn't any Coriolis effect. If it's not spinning underneath the helicopter, it's not spinning under the helicopter. So it's not spinning under the helicopter.
Hey, listen.
You're claiming it is spinning. We'll see a Coriolis deviation because it is spinning under the helicopter. And when we remain on the non-inertial reference frame, as I agree with you, we're going to see it deviate. And you're saying it's not. Well, then there isn't a Coriolis effect. Earth's not spinning, Zanuck. You seem to be debunking the claims of the globe spinning. Why would you go against their rhetoric?
Let's go back to the merry-go-round.
No, let's stick with the helicopter and its deviation. How fast is Earth spinning underneath that helicopter deviating away from us?
The ball does not leave the reference frame when you...
Not ball, helicopter. Yeah, ball leaves the reference frame, and you spin underneath it, giving you a Coriolis effect. Upon leaving the spinning roundabout, the ball will travel in a straight line. You'll rotate underneath. Your rotation underneath is what gives you the apparent deviation. That is Coriolis effect. Now, the helicopter's going to leave the roundabout. Oh, I mean Earth, which is also like the roundabout, supposed to be spinning. And I want to know about how it deviates. It's supposed to be deviating. Earth's supposed to be rotating underneath. And according to you, there's no speed underneath. So it's not rotating underneath.
It cannot go straight to the center of the merry-go-round because it...
Not merry-go-round, helicopter.
The right.
Helicopter.
Helicopter, yes.
It's not spinning underneath it, Zanuck. There's no Coriolis effect. There's no deviation if it's not spinning underneath. There's supposed to be on your sphere Earth. Ergo, Earth's not spinning. Turn out the lights. The party's over.
Party's over.
Oh, God. Over. I hate Skype. So Zanuck's demolishing the globe, Fundies. I mean, I'd have a go at Zanuck. He's explaining that Earth isn't spinning underneath this helicopter. He's made it plain, and it should be. It's supposed to be Coriolis effect, Zanuck.
Not just Zanuck, Posho, Jazzaconda,
Yeah,
George.
and pretty much every glober who argues this argument. Because they,
Yep,
let's not forget the blind sniper, virus, everybody who says that the Earth is not rotating underneath the helicopter is destroying this argument, which is their argument, which is hilarious.
supposed to be rotating under the helicopter to give you this Coriolis deviation, Zanik. Why would you argue against the Earth spinning when you're supposed to be proving it is? So Earth's not spinning under the helicopter. Oh, well, then Earth's not spinning.
Nathan, did I catch Zanuck saying that when he stands to the side with an orthographic view of the merry-go-round and the hover drone or the ball going straight up, from that viewpoint, he's arguing? Is that what he said?
Trying to argue that they're one reference frame and that the hovering helicopter isn't experiencing Earth rotating underneath. But that's precisely what Coriolis needs. It needs Earth rotating under that helicopter. But according to Zanuck, it just isn't.
Yes, exactly. But my point is, this is where their orthographic view works against them, and they like to use it in their favor in other things. So if he's standing to the side and the merry-go-round is turning with a person on it, that person does go further away at some point and comes back to that initial closer in-between space.
Yeah, exactly. It's rotating underneath. That's what gives you the effect. And Zanuck, for some reason, is demolishing the claims that Earth is spinning and demonstrates Coriolis effect because it spins, because he's just made it plain. It's not spinning under helicopters. We're not seeing Coriolis deviation. That's bad, because that means you're not spinning. The Earth's not moving. There is no Coriolis effect.
So in his orthographic view, the person moves away from the ball that went straight up, or the drone that's hovering from that, and then comes under that drone that's still hovering, and then goes away and then comes under. How is he not seeing the two reference frames?
No, they all seem to run away when it gets to this point where we point out that they're arguing against there being a Coriolis effect. It's happened several times. Wiggles ran away. It seems Zanuck's not talking anymore.
Emerald.
All right. Well, because in the same breath,
Can you
they'll
guys hear
say
me?
hurricane.
Hey, I just got disconnected by accident. Sorry about that. I had a
All right.
phone problem. So can I clear some of this? You've been kind of confused over this for months, and I'd like.
No, I'm definitely not confused. I'm asking, and have asked, and been answered, that helicopters don't have Earth turning underneath according to you, but they must, Zanuck, for there to be a spinning Earth.
Can't
They
let me
must.
have one
They
sentence.
must spin underneath the
Zanuck,
helicopter,
before you go, you're going to come back and clear our confusion when you're going against your high priest, Neil deGrasse Tyson, right here.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'll explain why I'm not if you'd like. But
No, you are going against him because you're saying that the helicopter's
Zanuck.
not got Earth spinning underneath
Can
it.
I ask-
He's saying Earth does spin underneath that football or the helicopter or anything else in the inertial reference frame, and you're saying it doesn't,
Not
man.
spin
You're
under the
going
ball.
against Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I can't. You let me finish or not?
We
No,
already know
they-
your answer. I asked you how fast Earth spun underneath the helicopter, and you told us that it doesn't. So we've already got the answer from you, Zanuck. I don't know why you need to keep reiterating your point that Earth isn't going underneath the helicopter. We're not seeing a deviation. There should be.
Merry-go-round.
So what else do you want? You keep wanting to talk about a merry-go-round. You're interrupting me to tell me about a merry-go-round. Your helicopter's debunking the Earth spinning underneath the helicopter, and you've told us that.
Conservation of linear momentum.
Yeah, that would mean that it's carrying along at the same speed and there isn't any Coriolis deviation. We're supposed to be seeing it deviating. If it's maintaining the momentum of the inertial reference frame, it isn't deviating and we're not seeing Coriolis effect. So you're still arguing against Coriolis. We're supposed to see it deviate.
Of linear momentum says that if I start at a faster tangential...
We're not talking about
Zanuck,
the angular
can I
momentum
ask
being
you a question,
maintained.
Zanuck?
We're not talking about that, Zanuck. You've done what all the other fundies did. That's what a cum virus did yesterday. Started talking about conservation of momentum. We're talking about it deviating, not conserving. Deviating, you stupid idiot. It's supposed to deviate. It's not supposed to conserve momentum. It's supposed to deviate to have Coriolis effect. And you're telling us all about how it's not
of linear momentum
deviating.
Means, you know what that term means? What does it mean, Nathan?
You're just rumpusing Discord and me.
What does it mean?
You just keep rumpusing.
Yeah,
We're not answering my
conservation-
question or addressing my demolition of your claim. And for some reason, someone else off mute.
Zanuck, can I ask you a question?
Oh, it's chocolate.
Zanuck?
I explained this to you yesterday, Red. Why can't you please tell them
you
what
hear
I'm
me?
trying to tell you?
Ignoring every word we
Zanuck,
say because
can
he
you
has to
hear me?
address stuff we say, chocolate. So
I
you
can
just-
hear you. I think Nathan has me on mute or something.
No, you're ignoring every word I say, and then when I
Right.
start to repeat my position, you ignore me.
I listen to every word you say, Nathan.
I don't know if Chocolate will let me. I'll try and repeat it again, and we'll see how we get on. You've made it clear that Earth is not rotating underneath the helicopter, and you're going
Correct.
on now. You're interrupting me, Zanuck. You said you listened to every word. You didn't listen to that word because you spoke. So I'll
No, I
try
said
again.
correct.
Without
Correct.
you. Yeah, this is you now completely obfuscating me trying to repeat the position you said you claimed you listened to. I'm trying to repeat it. So clearly he's lying. He hasn't listened and he's not willing to listen and he won't listen now. So you're a liar, Zanuck. You haven't listened to my position. I'll
I'm listening
attempt it
now.
again for a third time. That means, do I have to descend to the level of the other guy in telling you to shut the F up while I repeat the position? That you claim Earth isn't rotating under a helicopter and going on to justify how it isn't rotating under the helicopter with the conservation of angular momentum. Now, the fact that you're justifying it not deviating is you saying it isn't deviating. Now, Coriolis effect, an effect that is claimed to take place on Earth, is the deviation. So you attempting to justify why it doesn't is you saying there isn't a Coriolis effect. Because to have a Coriolis effect, you've got to deviate from the from the non-inertial spinning reference frame by leaving it and entering the inertial reference frame. Not maintaining the momentum of the spinning frame, but leaving the frame and demonstrating deviation that you're trying to justify not being there. So there must be deviation if Earth is demonstrating that there's a Coriolis effect. I want to know why you're arguing for there being no deviation and why there's no deviation when there must be if Earth is spinning.
Okay. Due to the conservation of linear momentum, if you're going from a position of higher tangential speed, going to the center where you're going, you'd have to go slower. You got to scrub that speed. You can't scrub the speed because you can't destroy momentum. Number one law, it deviates to the right. It accelerates ahead of the. You do not leave the reference frame. You never leave reference frames and go into other reference frames. That's not how it works.
How what
now,
works?
from the side of the,
Not
the
how
side
what
of the,
works.
No, I can't.
Not how what works. He won't listen to any questions. You said not how it works, not how what works. Coriolis or angular momentum preservation.
Conservation of linear momentum.
Oh, well, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the effect that Earth must have as Coriolis. So I'll explain to the audience what Zanuck has done. He's misdirected his audience by stating that you don't need to leave reference frames because it's not needed. It being the conservation of momentum, which he is now arguing for. Now, if you have a conservation of momentum, you don't have Coriolis effect, which is what Earth is claimed to have. Earth is claimed to be spinning, and it's claimed that we will observe from the spinning Earth an apparent deviation when things leave that spinning reference frame. So we aren't talking about what Zanuck's strawmanning us with, because he's arguing that you don't need to leave reference frames when describing angular momentum preservation, which isn't what's claimed to be happening on the spinning Earth, he reifies. There's claimed to be a Coriolis effect. And the Coriolis effect that's claimed to be there is a claimed deviation as you remain spinning underneath a helicopter, bullet, ball, drone, or plane. He, Zanuck, is arguing that we don't see deviation and that the angular momentum of the spinning reference frame's retained, which wouldn't give you Coriolis, which is the thing claimed to be there on a claim to be spinning Earth. Earth simply isn't spinning and doesn't demonstrate Coriolis, but now to defend that fact that we don't see deviation as conceded by Zanuck when he said the helicopter doesn't have the Earth rotating underneath, as it would need to have Coriolis, his defence is to argue about the necessity not being there when arguing for the conservation of angular momentum. So he's a straw man using double-speaking fundy zealot.
Zanik, may I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
All right. So what you're arguing for right now is that helicopters or aircraft or anything, it's not that the Earth is not rotating underneath it. Separate.
Correct.
Right. Right. Okay. So why is it when we were having this discussion, did Kosho provide us a citation that says otherwise? Now,
Well,
I
let me
can
get
read
something
that out
really
for
clear.
you if you want, so that we are
Well,
on
let
the
me
same
make something
page.
really clear. You don't. It's not that I'm choosing not to leave the reference frames. You don't leave reference frames. Number two,
then there isn't a Coriolis effect. You must leave the non-inertial reference frame to have a Coriolis effect. You must. So you saying that you don't is you saying Earth doesn't have Coriolis effect, and it must if it's spinning.
what did
So
Kosho
give me
say?
one more second, Zanik.
Kosho
Zanik, give me one
provided
more
a
second.
citation that said Earth must be spinning underneath in order for there to be a Coriolis effect. You're saying that they're one reference frame that you don't leave and won't see a deviation, which is to not have Coriolis effect, precisely what is required to make this so-called proof of a globe spinning make sense. You must have deviation in the helicopter you said doesn't have the Earth rotating underneath. If the Earth isn't rotating underneath, as claimed to prove the Earth is spinning, then the Earth isn't spinning.
The Earth is spinning.
No, it isn't.
Right, Zanik.
If you spun,
I want to throw one more caveat on that. Right, one sentence at the end of this citation. It says this occurs because as something moves freely above the Earth's surface, the Earth moves east under the object at a faster speed. So, according to this citation provided to us by Kosho, the Earth is supposed to be moving underneath, while an object over it is free. So,
Hello?
is it that you are wrong, or were we provided with a wrong citation? I mean,
Red.
or do you not understand this argument? Because it's got to
Red,
be one of those
Can
three.
you hear me? Red, can you hear me? I'll answer you.
why are you
Yeah,
talking to
I can
Red?
hear
From
you.
the inertial reference frame,
Red.
the object will appear to be stationary while the rotating object is moving underneath it. That's from the inertial reference frame. From outside the Earth. From on the Earth, you will see a deflection.
Oh, really? So, how fast does the Earth spin underneath a hovering helicopter to give you the deflection you will see from the ground?
Well, if you were not from the ground, from out.
You just said from the ground. From the ground, you see the apparent deflection because you remain on the non-inertial reference frame. That's what you just said only 10 seconds ago. Now, when pointing out that we should see a deflection, as claimed only 20 seconds ago by Zanik, and asking him how much of a deflection will we see in that hovering helicopter, what's the answer, Zanik? Not from the ground now.
What?
Not from the ground, even though you've said that's where we see the deflection. From the ground. Yeah, I'm on the ground. I'm looking at a hovering helicopter, mate.
Hovering, it's not going to do any deflection.
Oh, well then the ground isn't rotating underneath. Ergo, Earth is not rotating.
Not unless you're in the inertial reference frame.
Well, no, you've just said we experience it from the non-inertial spinning reference frame, you double-speaking asshole.
Deviation, yes.
Yeah, from the non-inertial spinning reference frame, we will see deviation as Earth spins underneath the helicopter. Oh, he's going to Discord rumpus me at the conclusion. It's now at the point where we're concluding our points. So he's going to interrupt every single one of them. So to see the deviation as I stand on the non-inertial reference frame as declared by Zanik, I'm going to see the helicopter deviate because I'm rotating underneath. Back to my original question, how fast does it rotate underneath that helicopter? Answer, it doesn't rotate. Earth isn't spinning according to Zanik. No deviation, right, Zanik? No Coriolis effect. No proofsy of a globe spinning,
It
mate.
has to move for Coriolis, Nathan.
Yeah, it has to move for Coriolis. And we don't have any. So it isn't moving, Zanik.
It has to move.
And it doesn't. So it isn't spinning.
Look, let me educate you on this.
He's getting really pissed off, isn't he? Yeah, it has to move. I'll start shouting it back at you. To be in effect, it has to move. but it isn't in effect. The helicopter isn't deviating. It has to move, Zanik. But it doesn't. Earth isn't moving.
Travel. Get in your car.
It's just Discord rumpusing me, right? Yeah? Fucking asshole. Yeah? You shout it from the hilltops. It has to move to have a Coriolis effect. Yeah, we don't see one though, do we? The helicopter's not deviating. Ergo, Earth's not moving.
It has to go north.
Yeah, he's just rumpusing me the whole time, so he doesn't have to listen or respond to what I'm saying. Yeah, I'll periodically unmute you just to let the audience know that I'm justified in keeping you shut up.
Object will...
Yeah, there we go. That's me letting you know that he's not listening to a word I'm saying. He said it has to move to have Coriolis effect. That's right. To have Coriolis effect, Earth must move underneath helicopters. And it doesn't. Earth doesn't move.
10th man, why don't you speak to me one-on-one?
Speak to me. Save me from this burning.
Go read
Nathan,
it must move, Zanik. To have Coriolis, it must move, Zanik. It must move to have Coriolis.
I want you, Zanik.
Nathan,
I want
listen,
you right
let
now.
me be real simple. The
Shut
object
up. I want you right now, Zanik. I'm going to take you right now. Go read the citation from Kosho. The Earth moves east under the object at a faster speed.
No.
Read it. Read
He said no. No. Oh, right. That's their fundy rhetoric that he's flying. He says no. Globe Earth model says Earth spins underneath. Zanik says no.
I teach Kosho.
Yeah, he's getting really angry now, isn't he? Yeah, we're pissing in the face of Earth spinning here, and you're helping us, Zanik. You're telling us it must move to have Coriolis. Yeah, that's our argument. It must move under the helicopter to have Coriolis, and it doesn't move, Zanik, and you're proving that.
Linear momentum.
Yeah. If it conserves momentum, it's not moving underneath. So we don't have Coriolis. That's a different straw man now. Again, same straw man as last time.
Zanik, every citation I've read, none of them say anything about conservation of momentum. They all say that objects move freely over the Earth as it spins underneath. So what's your problem?
Only from the inertial frame of reference.
Only from the inertial frame of reference. Only from the object that's not experiencing any Coriolis effect. You don't experience Coriolis effect in the inertial reference frame. You made that clear earlier, Zanik. You only experience it from the non-inertial spinning reference frame. So I am on the inertial reference frame, not experiencing it. Yeah, that's right, Zanik. Your double speak's not slipping past us here. We're catching you at every turn. So let's hear how pissed off you are. Maybe you should start shouting. Get angry. Get really triggered.
You can't sit in one spot for Coriolis. You got to move. And if you move north, it's deflected.
No, you don't have to move. That's wrong. You're a liar and you don't understand Coriolis. You can remain stationary on the non-inertial reference frame, watching the projectile move. You don't have to move. You're wrong.
Sure.
You don't understand Coriolis.
Right.
It's pretty clear at this point that you don't understand Coriolis and you're just Discord rumpusing and shouting through me. He's shouting through me now because he's getting proven wrong at every corner. No, you can remain stationary to observe the projectile deflecting because you don't have to move. The non-inertial reference frame moves underneath for you to have that deflection, Zanik. You're just wrong.
Something has
you
to
fundamentally
move.
don't understand Coriolis, but I'll point it out so the audience can hear my concise demolition of your incorrect assertions when it comes to reference frames and your strawman arguments that you don't need reference frames. Oh yeah, when talking about angular momentum being conserved, even though Earth needs to have a Coriolis effect, it needs to be deviating. That helicopter, or that is, the one that's hovering, not showing any deviation, it must move, Zanik. It must move. But you get more and more angry because I'm smiling from ear to ear. The more pissed off you get.
Nathan, let him. I want to hear him.
Yeah, me too.
Let me talk. Let me have one sentence. I'm asking.
So if you're watching this in the after show where it makes no difference what happens here, vote 1 if you think we should listen to the triggered Fundy spew his rhetoric in the face of our
There's
demolition.
no deviation.
Or
None.
press 2 if we should continue to wind him up based on the fact that he's demonstrating Earth doesn't have Coriolis effect, arguing for momentum being maintained, not showing any deviation as needed by the globe Earth model. Him flying in the face of the citations that say Earth should go underneath as he says it's retaining the momentum of the Earth as it leaves the frame that you don't need when describing angular momentum being retained, which is a straw man.
You're retaining the momentum of the object.
Yeah, go on, get it out. Get really angry, shout at me, maybe swear at me a few times. Maybe at this point, when he's at his most triggered, I think I should start making up lies about things he said. What do you think, audience? Should I start lying about things Zanuck hasn't said? I think I'm going to start lying about you, Zanuck, and then laugh about you because you're really angry right now. Your argument's being ripped apart. You're really triggered. Really triggered, aren't you?
Does that make sense?
Before
That's why
he
there's no
does
Coriolis
that,
from
can
the
I ask a
inertial
question? Janet, do you have...
You laugh because you don't understand. You still
No, I laugh because you said Kosho's your student, and the quote he gave says the opposite of what you
Correct.
said.
He is my student. Yes.
Oh, that's why. Kosho. This is the man you need to blame. I wrongly claimed it was Rumpus and George, who also punt this complete fuckwit narrative that Zanuck's punting. But your embarrassment here the other day, where I absolutely roasted you on this, is as a net result of you listening to Zanuck, who basically doesn't understand the Coriolis effect, who thinks that not being in the inertial reference frame is what causes the inertial reference frame to generate the actual effect the projectile moving in a straight line will cause if you're on the non-inertial reference frame. But at a base level, he doesn't understand Coriolis effect. So he's very angry right now.
You don't understand it.
Yeah, you project your nonsense onto me, mate.
Zanuck, and I told Kosho I was
Zanuck, I'm trying to get permission.
extra special just because it came from him.
Zanuck has taught me a thing or two. He's a very smart guy. I'd actually like to hear his explanation.
Maybe you can answer the same question, right? Maybe you'll back Zanuck when he says that there's no rotation of the Earth under a helicopter, no Coriolis deviation, as you must have on a spinning Earth. Maybe you'll back him. Or maybe you'll all Discord rumpus me while I summarise the point. Maybe you'll think that will make the audience not hear us absolutely killing you in this regard.
This is so funny.
Can I ask Kosho and Zanuck a question?
Yeah. Let's all roast him.
Okay. Does the Earth, as it spins, so-called, have a greater tangential speed at ground level or at a higher altitude?
As you go to a higher latitude, the ground speed would be faster. You can't achieve or slower. You can't get to the slower speed without scrubbing speed. You have to scrub speed off that object going northward. So that's why it deflects to the right. It accelerates to the right, to the east, because it can't destroy momentum. That's one of the laws. You can't destroy.
That's not my question. As the Earth so-called spins, does the Earth have a greater tangential speed at ground level or at a higher altitude?
Higher altitude. If you're going to be in sync with that position, you have to be going faster as you go higher.
The airplane.
As you go higher, you would have to go faster to match that tangential speed on the Earth. Its tangential speed would be higher at the same position, same radius, line to the center.
Okay, go on, Paul.
Go, guys. Go. No. You guys can go. That means then the Earth would still rotate underneath the helicopter.
Not rotating if you immediately started going up in altitude, yes, you would actually start lagging behind because you have to conserve momentum.
Oh, so, okay. At altitude, how fast does Earth rotate underneath a hovering helicopter? We won't let me ask this time. This is brilliant. Yeah, I'll try a few times. I'll get it through loads, yeah. How fast, at altitude, does Earth rotate underneath a hovering helicopter?
The Earth does not move under a hovering helicopter.
You've just said that it changes and you have to go faster at altitude to account for the fact that Earth's rotating even faster when you go up. But yet, when we ask how fast, you go back to the position pissing in the face of the globe Earth rhetoric that you do have Coriolis, as you've just explained you would, have it more, going higher, but yet we're still with a helicopter and Earth not rotating underneath it. You seem to be violating the law of non-contradiction, because at the moment we've got a hovering helicopter that has the Earth going even faster underneath it when it gets to altitude, and when I ask how fast it's going underneath it, you say it isn't.
The Earth. The helicopter is flying with the Earth, flying in the atmosphere, which is
Yeah, you laugh it up, Fundy. You've just said you go higher and it goes faster underneath you. And I asked how fast it goes underneath, and the answer was 0. And now you're explaining again how the Earth and atmosphere travellers won, not giving us the effect you said would happen more if you go higher? Zanuck, it seems like what's happening is here. You are, like George and Rumpus and your little student fuckwit Kosho, absolutely screwed.
seriously.
Yeah, seriously. You're absolutely screwed. You've just asserted the Earth rotates faster underneath when you get higher. I ask how fast it's rotating underneath and you say 0. So it's not rotating underneath. Zanuck, it must move. It must move under the helicopter. It must move.
Yes.
It must move, Zanuck. It must move under the helicopter
Not
to
if
have
you have
Coriolis.
an atmosphere
Zanuck, it
Not if you
must
have an atmosphere
move.
moving with the Earth.
Zanuck,
The
it
atmosphere is moving
must
with the Earth. Is it
move.
not?
Zanuck, it must move under the helicopter to have the Coriolis you claim a spinning Earth has. So if it's not rotating under the helicopter, it's not moving. The Earth, that is. Earth's not moving. You don't have a Coriolis effect. There's no deviation, Zanuck. Earth isn't spinning.
Nathan, give him the opportunity to give a full explanation.
From you, Zanuck. How fast is a hovering helicopter got the Earth spinning underneath it to give you the absolutely required Coriolis effect alleged to be there on a spinning Earth, Kosho?
Kosho, would you please paraphrase what I said?
Kosho, you're one to speak. You provide the actual citation that backs up Nathan's point.
Yeah,
You're
well,
one to
Nathan
talk
Oakley,
right
you're doing it to a point where you have your own audience members coming to people like me and Zanuck after the show to get explanations that you won't let him get during the show. Give him the chance to give the explanation, and you guys can sing. I swear to you,
You
having
guys
30
don't
minutes
even
ago to me,
understand the
an audience
argument.
of your show,
Are you kidding?
saying that we're going to talk about this afterwards because you.
That sounded like a shitload of obfuscation rather than answering my question.
So,
I just asked him. I asked him how fast Earth rotates underneath a hovering helicopter to give you the absolutely must-be-there Coriolis effect, the effect of it deviating away from you as you rotate underneath on the non-inertial reference frame. I want to know in miles per hour how fast Earth rotates under a hovering helicopter, Kosho. Maybe you can answer rather than tell me about how, after the show, this long pause that will now happen was given a great explanation.
Yeah, I'm going to let Zanuck finish his explanation.
Oh, right, so you're not going to answer my question then. So it seems like me not being here after the show isn't really any difference to you not being able to answer my question. My question being about how fast Earth rotates under a hovering helicopter to give you the absolutely must be there and declared by priests like NDT. I want to know how fast Earth rotates under a hovering helicopter. Because, obviously, Earth's rotating under hovering helicopters to give you the absolutely must-be-there Coriolis deviation claimed to be there on a spinning Earth. Because if it isn't, Earth isn't spinning, Kosho.
No, Nathan, you have, like, literally almost no understanding about what Coriolis is.
That's an ad hominem attack, so there's third time's a charm, hasn't addressed my question. It's because he can't address my question. It's a contradiction in terms. If the hovering helicopter's hovering, Earth's not rotating underneath. And if Earth's not rotating underneath, there is no Coriolis effect. So maybe he wants to spend another 10 minutes giving us the explanation how the hovering helicopter hasn't got Earth rotating underneath.
Non-inertial reference frame. What we
The
see
object is not actually
Why would
moving
you
off its
provide a
course.
citation that says the exact opposite of what you're saying?
Read it, Chocolate. I'm trying to read it, but they keep rumpusing me. Read it.
Okay, I'll close down the Discord server temporarily so you can read it out, Chocolate, because it seems 10th Man's attempting to... I didn't know that. They're just Discord server rumpusing him so that the Kosho citation doesn't get read. So be my guest.
Okay. The object is not actually moving off its course. It only appears to be doing so because the Earth is turning beneath it. The main cause of the Coriolis effect is the Earth's rotation. As the Earth spins in a counterclockwise direction on its axis, Anything flying or flowing over a long distance above its surface is deflected. This occurs because as something moves freely above the Earth's surface, the Earth moves east under the object at a faster speed.
So according to that citation, the helicopter takes off, it moves freely, having left the spinning reference frame, and according to that, we, as we remain on the spinning reference frame, see it seeming to curve away from us as it goes up, because we're rotating underneath according to what is absolutely required by a spinning ball Earth. We must see deviation in that hovering helicopter. But by definition, it's not deviating and demonstrating this absolutely must be there Coriolis effect, because it's not moving from its original position. So it's not demonstrating Coriolis effect, it's not deviating. Ergo, Earth's not rotating underneath, Earth's not rotating.
He just rumpused the whole time, Nathan. These
No,
guys
I
are
did. I'm
nuts.
trying to tell you.
Of course he did. I'm pulling down my pants and pooing on their religion of a sphere Earth. And all they can do is run around like headless chickens and scream over the top of every word I say in the vain hope that this won't reach the audience. Or they're so stupid that they think that if they don't hear it, it hasn't been said. If we don't get heard pointing out that they're saying no deviation, angular momentum being retained, that's why it doesn't deviate. Doesn't deviate? Well, it should deviate if Earth's spinning. It's supposed to deviate. It's claimed to deviate. The citation says how it should deviate with Earth rotating underneath. But they're arguing for it not deviating. They're flying in the face of the claims the heliocentric model works with. The heliocentric model says it should deviate, but they're saying it doesn't. And I want to know why they're arguing against the claims of the globe. Saying it's not deviating is to say Earth doesn't have Coriolis when it should. Why, fundies?
Well, Zanuck, what's the analogy, though? What's the analogy of two people on a merry-go-round? What's the helicopter? Is the helicopter the ball in that analogy?
Yes.
The helicopter would be the ball. The helicopter would be the ball.
Okay, so when one person throws the ball to the other, you'll see an apparent deflection because the merry-go-round's rotate.
Yes, stay in that non-inertial reference frame, and it deflects to a guy maybe 90 degrees to your right.
No, it doesn't stay in the non-inertial reference frame. At a fundamental level, Zanuck doesn't understand Coriolis. When the ball's thrown, it doesn't stay in the non-inertial reference frame. You're just stupid. Look up Coriolis, Zanuck. You're retarded. The ball doesn't stay in the non-inertial reference frame. It leaves the non-inertial reference frame. You stupid idiot.
You know what straight is, and you're retarded.
Oh my God. There's Stiggy, come on, stick up for me and I'll give you the answer.
He's just ignored me. So his Discord rumpused me and ignored me. Zanuck just declared, you can check it back on the replay, feel free to rewind about 30 seconds. He said it stays in the non-inertial reference frame. When given an example of a ball being thrown between two people on a spinning roundabout, the non-inertial reference frame is the spinning roundabout, and as it leaves that spinning non-inertial reference frame, the apparent deviation is observed by both people who spin underneath the ball. Well, Zanuck's incorrect. He says it stays on the non-inertial reference frame, and he's just wrong. He simply does not understand Coriolis effect, and anybody watching and listening to this can double check how wrong Zanuck is. So this is dedicated to Air, regardless of his constant Discord.
No, he's trying to give that explanation for the first.
Letting the audience listen to, because religious zealots, they don't want to hear what I've got to say. They're not interested. They'll completely tune it out. But you as an audience, you do get to hear the demolition. You can hear me pointing out that Zanuck's wrong. He doesn't understand Coriolis. He thinks a ball that's thrown on a roundabout between two people stays on the non-inertial reference frame. He's wrong. He's stupid. He's a globe head. And he's arguing against Coriolis when he says that Earth and atmosphere travel as one, like the rest of the fundamentalist zealots who come here. And with that, I will say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who tuned in on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. Of course, a massive thank you to all of today's debating panel for rumpusing the living crap out of Discord and making this show possible. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!